Hey, it's John Carlos, and I'm here with my good buddy BJ. Say hello. Look at that.
Hello.
We have been talking James Bond. We're plowing through all the movies. I'm using my time at home to watch all the Bond movies. We talked Sean Connery. We have sucked George Lazenby's dick.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. This
And,
is true.
And I think the complete opposite of that is now about to happen. You and I are both not Roger Moore guys. And
Well, it's funny. It's funny because I'm genuinely concerned. One of our mutual friends, Micah, I think it was Micah, that made some kind of mention of, that there might be more bad Bond films than there are good Bond films. And I've never agreed with that statement. I've always maintained that it's kind of like Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's not good, but if it's on TV, it's going to be better probably than most of the stuff that's on. I'd rather watch Star Trek the Motion Picture than most stuff. But if I could pick any Star Trek movie, I don't want to watch the motion picture or Insurrection. But I'll watch those over other stuff.
Sure.
I don't feel that way anymore after this. I don't feel that way. My fandom of James Bond, my opinion of James Bond has completely been altered by this little game that you and I started playing by watching all the Bond movies.
I will say in Micah's defense that because when I've been posting on my personal Facebook page what movie I'm watching, and sometimes just like a or whatever, when it comes to which Roger Moore movie I'm watching. So I think after seeing enough of my questionable posts, I think he wondered, like, I'm beginning to wonder, like, how many of these are terrible? Like,
well, yeah, and then also
for me day after day is like grumble.
Well, it's funny because also we have a friend, Mike. He commented on my post of our Lazenby video, I believe. It might have been the Connery one, and just said, "Hey, you guys do this. This inspired me to watch all the Bond movies again." He's like, "I'm sitting here in my tuxedo drinking a martini," and I was like, "That's great!" Like and that's the thing, is that also I got attacked, straight up got attacked by somebody I know, because I said that one of the Roger Moore movies I did one of the my post was, these are supposed to get better, right? And it was totally like someone was so offended. And I was like, and it was funny because, of course, my career has been in entertainment and in the last decade, mainly in feature film, television, animation, that type of stuff. And my credibility was completely questioned and badmouthed, because I dared to say that a Roger Moore movie was not great.
I don't want to flat out talk shit, even though I feel like we already did say this already in a different video, but I do find that Roger Moore fans tend to be the most defensive when you say I don't like Roger Moore. Pierce Brosnan fans to a certain degree, but Pierce Brosnan fans aren't hostile. They're just a little more innocent. Like, well, what do you mean you don't like him?
Right.
No one ever talks a lot of shit on Daniel Craig or Connery, so I feel like they don't count. Lazenby fans usually just tend to be like, oh, let me just inform you of something you may have missed. But yeah, a lot of just throughout my life, people think, "Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know."
Yeah, it's interesting, always, especially. Yeah, it's always the Roger Moore fans.
Always Roger Moore fans. And even when I try to get into just polite little nerdy discussions, and not all, but I'm just saying that when it is, it's usually because they're a Roger Moore fan. But
yeah, it's not all. It's definitely not all. I know plenty of them that aren't like that.
Yeah. But when I try to engage, the most common response is always when I say, "Why do you like the Roger Moore movies?" Oh, it's because those are the ones I grew up with. Mm-hmm. The thing for me, though, I understand that response, and I hear it all the time. Well, he was the one I grew up with. He was my Bond. Cool.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan was my Bond. He was the one that I first saw in theaters. But I also got older and watched the other movies and learned to allow my brain to go, oh, there are better people. I'm not just going to latch onto the one guy I saw first. And
right. Yeah. Well, you don't eat. My favorite food when I was 3 might have been goldfish, if they existed, because I'm really old. But but at 40, I'm not going to say, yo, my favorite food is crushed goldfish on chopped weenies. Like that, I wouldn't say that at 40. Does sound good though. Yeah. Quarantine weight is in full effect. No, but you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to me, even almost decade-wise, even maybe even 5-year intervals, your tastes change. Supposedly every 7 years, the composure of your body changes. So even in that, you should grow as a person. And also, I mean, it's kind of like because people, and I don't think this is a fair comparison at all because I don't agree with it. But think of Adam West as Batman comparatively to all the Batmans we've had. Whenever somebody says Adam West is Batman, a Christian Bale fan does not go, "Oh, you're an idiot," because Adam West sucks. Adam West does not suck. Adam West is great. He did campy, fun. Actually, I think it's a great parallel I'm thinking of. Adam West did great, campy, fun Batman, and it worked, and it was good, and it was actually good. Like you watch it now, and it's good. It's fun, and you can watch Christian Bale at the same time and go, "I enjoyed that." You can watch Keaton, but to watch Daniel Craig or Lazenby or one of the other, even Pierce Brosnan, comparatively to Roger Moore, there's a real distance there, and the fandom reacts in a really weird way because, like you said, it's as I'm wearing my Slytherin earphones, not all Slytherins are bad, but all the bad guys are Slytherins. That kind of thing. Can you hear my dog barking?
Yeah.
My dog is
Yeah,
barking in the other room.
No, but I totally understand the analogy.
Yeah, but Adam West made great stuff. Like the TV show,
And
his feature film is still amazing now.
The demands of what the Batman show is, he was a great Batman for that show.
Right.
Same thing with Christian Bale in that framework. It might be a little weird if you had Christian Bale, doing the Bat-Tootsie. It wouldn't fit.
Actually, but in the new Titans show, have you seen that episode?
Oh,
the
I have.
Bat-Tootsie episode?
Yes, when he gets up on stage. Yeah.
Controversial. He may be my favorite Bruce Wayne, but that's okay. We'll talk about that in another different conversation.
Interesting.
I'm controversial because I think he is brilliant. But yeah, so all right, let's dive into Roger Moore.
Dive right on in. I remember I saw Live and Let Die for the first time in my 20s. I got the box set of all the 4 different sets that they did. Okay, here's the history of it. MGM put out the DVDs in the old snapper cases when DVDs first came out. And then they did special editions that had some bonus features. But then they did like the remastered 3rd DVD set, and that's the one that I got.
Those are the color coordinated ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
where
I have the same
they're not in chronological order. It's like here's a Brosnan, here's a Connery. It made no sense at all.
The place, yeah. Well, because they knew that there were certain boxes that wouldn't sell if they
exactly
chronologically.
So,
there's one Bond that wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
Chronologically.
So, Live and Let Die I saw in my 20s, and I did not like it. And then I haven't watched it in like 10 or 15 years. And I was still right. I thought, because I'll admit to you, there are a few other Roger Moore movies that aren't as bad as I recall. But this one is not great.
So yeah, so as a kid, because my Bond growing up was Roger Moore. I saw my first James Bond movie as a kid, and Roger Moore was Bond at the time. I mean, that's when his Bond movies were coming out. And then when I was a little bit older, I was like 8 or 9, when The Living Daylights came out, and that's when Timothy Dalton took over. So I was a kid, like in Cannonball Run 2, I think, when Roger Moore shows up, I'm like, oh, it's James Bond. Because when I was a kid, 5 or 6 years old, James Bond was Roger Moore. Cannonball Run is amazing, both of them. But it's like live action wacky races. But Roger Moore, the Roger Moore movies are real blurry for me. I don't remember all of them very well, and I owe you an apology for that. We'll get to there. But when I watched Live and Let Die recently, my wife watched it with me, and she just kept looking at me as in like, why are you watching this? Like, I thought you were a James Bond fan. And also like just the amount of overt, especially in that first one, Live and Let Die, how overtly racist and sexist. And I know it was a different time, but it's so over the top. Like, I'm getting beat over the head by boys and all that. Hey, boy. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? That type of stuff. It also felt like so much of the movie is based on other movies. And I noticed there's a lot of Roger Moore films. It seems like all the movies are inspired by something else, as if like
That's a thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's been a thing that I think started with the Roger Moore era, and it's one of the things that I like about the franchise, not necessarily on its own terms, but just
Mhm.
a step removed, which was that you can kind of chronicle what was happening in cinema
Right.
by what's going on in a Bond movie. Because there was a period in the 70s and 80s where they were really chasing trends to catch up with what was hot.
Right.
And Live and Let Die is literally coming out a year or two off of Shaft.
Hmm.
And I think the same year, I can't remember all the years, but I know this isn't the same time as Coffee, Shaft, uh, Superfly.
Right.
Blaxploitation was
Dolomite. Yeah.
booming. This is about
Yeah.
2 or 3 years into it, and yeah, I think it really kicked off between like 70 and 75, and this was like right in there. If you keep going further in, like at some point, he goes in a different movie to like a kung fu dojo, and we're like, hey,
Hmm.
Bruce Lee movies are doing really well right now.
Right. Right. Right.
Star Wars
Right.
came Star Wars came out in 77, and 2 years later,
Moonraker.
James Bond goes to space. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Also, something else.
but
Something else. Oh no. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the weird thing for me for Live and Let Die, not weird, but I mean, the one thing that we tend to be aware of now is when, if we see like a movie with an all-female cast or something, but then you're like, oh, it's still written by a white dude and like directed by a dude. Now we're starting to see more and more like, no, like black dudes are directing all black casts and yada yada yada. And you look at Live and Let Die, and you're like, but it's still like broccoli and like Saltzman and all these.
Well, see,
Like
the director, the director thing, the
you're
director
tapping
thing
on a
and producer
trend.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the director thing and the producer thing isn't as weird as Tom Mankiewicz,
Yeah.
who wrote Superman the Motion Picture. I mean, one of the greatest screenplays of all time, one of the best screenwriters of all time, wrote this movie, and he has no business writing a blaxploitation movie, and B, this is easily some of the worst work he's ever done. Because also something else I noticed in this, other than all the racism and all that nonsense that just has no place in James Bond, in my opinion. The next part, or in anything really, but I noticed that the movie it just keeps circling around the same situation. What happens is Bond shows up, Bond sleeps with somebody, Bond gets in trouble, they call Felix Leiter, Felix Leiter tells him Bond sleeps with somebody, Bond calls Felix Leiter, they're on the phone, there's always a shot of him on the phone. Bond gets kidnapped or is in an action sequence or someone tries to kill him, and then Felix shows up and saves him, takes him back to the base. Bond leaves. Bond finds somebody and sleeps with somebody. Bond calls Felix. Bond gets kidnapped or in an action sequence or is almost killed. Felix shows up and saves him. It happens, I think, 4 times in the movie, just over and over and over and over again. And out of nowhere, the Smokey and the Bandit theme shows up with and I think this is before Smokey and the Bandit, but the angry, I could see you getting a headache just be bringing this guy up. The angry sheriff or whatever he is, hey boy, and he's like spitting, he has chew in his mouth and stuff. It's so awful. And he's not even part of the storyline. He's just a character. He's one of the cops chasing Bond.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad. It's atrociously bad.
It's a different performance. Like it's not like he's in the wrong movie.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in the wrong movie.
Prior to, we've had a few weird off, like Mr. Kent and whatever, but I never felt like, oh, you're in the wrong movie. But this guy.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up my list to make sure I stay in order because I rewatched all of these out of order.
I've got
but yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, Live and Let Die. And not that, but here's another thing. Moving forward in the franchise, you see a movie like License to Kill, which is very dark and very serious and very edgy and very violent. And then you see that when you watch the making of it, they talk about, well, there was so much cut out of Live and Let Die from the book that we wanted to make a Live and Let Die movie again, but doing it more like the book. All the characters in Live and Let Die, the movie, are in License to Kill, but they're black instead of Hispanic. Like Sanchez is very close to the baddie, even though the actor that they cast as the villain in Live and Let Die is amazing. They wrote him a crap part, and he delivers great. it's just a crap movie and a crap part. And the really bad like makeup they put on him in the beginning, so he's supposed to look like a different person. Like all of that stuff,
Yeah.
so much of that, and all of the thinking that Bond is someone else than he really is, and all of that stuff, and the drugs and everything, that is all in License to Kill. But in License to Kill, it's done straight face. The shark eats, Felix. All of that stuff happens in License to Kill and is in the Live and Let Die book. But in the movie Live and Let Die, it's silly.
I don't remember the villain in Live and Let Die inflating and floating and exploding, though. I don't remember that.
Yeah. That's all of that is just, it's so weird. And not that, but also that, what a terribly shot effect.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do?
I'm not a fan of when young whippersnappers look at old movies and go, "Oh, the effects are stupid." Like, fuck you, that's the best we had at the time, and yada yada yada. But I will.
I've heard that.
Movie, on this movie, though, it's rough.
Yeah, I had one of these kids tell me that the Ghostbusters effect in the first Ghostbusters movie. They said, "Yeah, I watched it. I just couldn't get into the graphics are so bad." I'm like, graphics in Ghostbusters? A, the special effects were incredible, and B, those aren't graphics. Those didn't exist yet. But what were we going to say? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I forgot when I rewatched, because again, I haven't seen it in 10, 15 years. I forgot that Yaphet Kotto was in this.
Yeah, me too.
So like, I kind of like sat up for a moment, and he is great in his scenes.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
The makeup isn't fooling anybody when it comes off. I remember the whole time, like, well, that's just Yaphet Kotto in makeup. Really cool. And also, I don't mind, like, that's one of the few stories where, like, I kind of like my Bond movies when the villains aren't megalomaniacs trying to take over and destroy the world. And the fact that this is just like essentially, if I remember correctly, it was like a drug smuggling plan that ultimately will have some effect on the market, so it will affect the world, but he isn't twisting his mustache talking about the world. It is still a smuggling story. But he's cool. I like that. There's a few, I like even a bad Felix. I'm still happy just to see a Felix show up.
Well, I like him as Felix. I like him.
I like this Felix
him as Felix. Yeah. He's probably up there. He's at least he's my third favorite Felix, probably.
I'm also a fan of I'm an easy mark when it comes to little continuity and connections. So the fact that Quarrel Jr. is in this, I was like, oh, how nice. Because, as someone who enjoys, Dr. No has its problems, but I still think it's okay. But you know who was pretty good in that movie? Quarrel's pretty good in that movie. He's a good dude. They paint him a little dumb. There is that sort of like, oh, there's a dragon on the island. A dragon, and then it turns out like it's just like a big tractor or a tank and whatever. But it was nice to have Quarrel Jr. in this.
Yeah.
Little thing. But there is plenty that bothers me about it. The first thing is just off the get-go, I'm aware that we're in the 70s, but that even more so than the Connery movies, it really feels like Moore's 007's at the forefront of his mind, or always lingering, is like, oh, I need to fuck somebody.
Yeah.
It's always like every girl, there's like the look and the line, and it's always one of the first things, and what felt weird for me is that it felt like a fantasy in the 50s. And obviously you're making a movie in the 60s, you're making the franchise in the 60s, during the swinging 60s, where not only was, I mean, make love, not war, and that sort of thing. It wasn't just an anti-war statement, but also like the 60s was a very pro-sexually liberating time. Right. So I get when you're making movies where a guy's constantly just banging every female he encounters in a movie. Something about it being in the 70s, I'm like, we're not in the 60s anymore, dude.
Yeah,
it feels sad.
It feels tragic. It feels really pathetic, and that's kind of the difference. Because even Connery's later movies feel a little bit that way. Lazenby didn't feel that way at all. Interesting enough, because I don't know, he plays it smarter than that. Mm-hmm. Roger Moore feels like he's in on the joke, like he knows that this movie is a movie. And he's supposed to fight the bad guys. He's supposed to kill people in a funny way. He's supposed to say something witty, and he's supposed to sleep with every chick he meets. Like, and even watching the movie, there's moments where I feel like he's looking at the camera and going, "Hey," but I mean, he doesn't. He does eventually in the movies, but it feels even as early on and supposedly as dark as Live and Let Die is supposed to be. And it's not. It just seems silly. The whole thing seems tragic.
Later films, even with Brosnan or Daniel Craig, like the character will happen to get the girl or girls within a movie, but I never feel like when Daniel Craig or even most of the time Pierce Brosnan, when he like enters a scene, is like, look at all this pussy around here. I'm gonna make a joke and fuck one of these
there's
people.
one for Pierce Brosnan,
That's
and
why I say
it's
mostly and not
yeah,
100%.
no, absolutely. There's one
I don't.
line where I was like, he has become Roger Moore. No more. He's got to end. And then then that was when World Was Not Enough, which I actually have a positive spin on. But that one
Yeah,
line, you know what I'm talking about, right?
it's the very very end.
No. Oh no,
Okay.
that one didn't. That one was the writers, where I'm like, you guys
Yeah.
are dorks.
Well,
You wrote this
yeah,
entire movie to make that one line. You're stupid.
but the way the world is not enough ends is a very Roger Moore ending.
Yes. Oh yeah.
What's the
But there's
line?
one. Here are my figures. He
Oh.
goes, I'm sure they're perfectly rounded. He goes like this. He goes, like makes this weird face. It's such a Roger Moore.
Oh yeah, and Roger Moore has a
Desperate for
lot of lines where he's not saying it
yeah.
to anyone, and it's not. There's a lot. I mean, I didn't write down all the quotes, but I remember especially in I think View to a Kill, where he's like following up like a second, someone who's just guiding him into the property, and she mentioned something, and he just has to make like a dirty pun, and it's like it's only her, so you're basically just demeaning her in front of her. Great, cool. But
The
yeah,
Dr.
there's something about
Goodhead. That's another one.
there's something about the fact that we're not in the swinging '60s anymore, but it's still so much at the forefront. I'm just not hip to it.
Yeah.
As I drop an earplug, but one of the things, to the degree where it actually sort of bothered me a little bit, is when he goes to see Solitaire, and he's already alluded to like the cards that like, oh, you and I are gonna bang. So then later he goes to her property and has her read the cards again.
Yeah.
And then they just start hooking up, and it felt very like that episode of The Simpsons to me when Homer could cheat with I think Lurleen, and he saw a fortune cookie that says like, you're gonna cheat on your wife tonight or something, and she's like, well, we don't have to hook up. He's like, but the fortune cookie said we do. Like, you could just not bang Bond, and then you find out he had a whole fat stack of cards that all have the lover on them, and that's what I'm like. I get you manipulating someone when it's like for information, but you just manipulated her to bang you. Am I supposed to be rooting for him? Because like one movie in, and I don't like this guy.
Well, it's funny because that brings up another massive problem I have with this movie. Oh my God, it was so stupid. Okay, so my wife and I are watching the movie, right? And we're watching it, and I go, oh, for God's sakes. And she's like, what? And I paused it, and I rewound it. I said, look at the cards.
Yeah.
And it says
I hate
007.
I hate them.
I was like, that's another moment where I'm just like, you're in on the joke. Like, this is supposed to be the reinvention of James Bond. Like, this is supposed to be the dark, live and let die. Like, they made him cut his hair. He lost a bunch of weight. He was in great shape. Like, look-wise, when you see him get out of a car, you're like, oh, shit, that guy's James Bond. I get it. Even though he doesn't look like James Bond in the book or, any way they've ever described Bond, you see him and you go, I can see that. He can do Bond. And when I see him rolling his eyes and looking at camera and saying stupid things, and they pull out the cards and it says 007 all over the back of the cards, it's, oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how I would, I was like, this movie's crap already. It's so bad.
The modern equivalent to me is like when they, when you reboot, here, I'll give you a good example. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, when his ringtone is the Spider-Man theme. And I'm like, but, huh? Like, why is that? We know that theme. Why is that? I don't get it. The same thing is like, why is 007 on the back? Like, there's one extra step of self-awareness that I don't want.
Yeah, because I mean,
and it's not like funny. It's not cool. I don't know who they're pleasing with it.
Well, they did. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that in the first Spider-Man, which I'm not a big fan of. But the guy in the subway singing the Spider-Man theme, and I'm okay with it. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
And the ringtone didn't bother me that much, but this, for some reason, is like I went and bought a watch, and it's shaped like it's a red and blue and shaped like a spider. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I would just piss me off. And these cards pissed me off so much. Every time they pulled out a card in any way in that film, I would groan, and my wife would just go, "This is terrible." I'm like, I can't believe Guy Hamilton did this movie.
And on the one hand, it could be like fanboy nitpicking, that's such a small thing, but it's indicative of the confidence or the headspace of where the production is at. They think that this would fly.
Oh, so bad. Oh, and
Um,
also, and in this movie, another problem. This is the beginning of we are going to do a greatest hits of all the movies that worked before, where we have to have a train fight.
Yep.
And then at the end, where the villain survives and he laughs he laughs. Oh God, he just laughs the whole movie. Why does he laugh all the time? So obnoxious. But he's going to be on the back of the train because all of a sudden, later down the road, we have Jaws. Later on, we have the little mini guy and Man with the Golden Gun. We've got all these things where they keep repeating characters, plot lines. Because even the character in this, they wrote him to be the black, Blofeld. Like he's Black Blofeld, and I'm like, what? Like, why? We don't want to see Blofeld. And you get this Academy Award-winning actor, and if he never won one, he deserved 100 of them because he's so damn good, and he's just playing Blofeld.
In fact, I think his once you get down to like his layer, there is a little conveyor belt with a little vehicle on it.
Well, this is also the thing that also with all the Moore movies is all of a sudden there's an underground,
For a majority of them,
yeah, it's just so stupid, and now I'm starting to get angry talking about Live and Let Die. But the movie is just so bad. It's tragic.
Here's one little thing. Like, you get mad about the playing cards. I get mad about this. He goes to his hotel room and there's this woman that shows up. She's like a young black actress, and you find out she's a CIA agent.
Oh my God!
But she doesn't know like how to operate her gun. And I know it's meant to be like, tee-hee, she doesn't know anything. Look at this girl. James Bond knows everything because he's our fucking hero and he knows everything, and she's an idiot, right?
That's the beginning of that in the Roger Moore movies too.
Then don't make her a CIA agent, because when you tell me that, I think about someone who's like been to all the training, and there is no way on earth that a CIA agent would be like, I don't know how to work my gun, derp derp derp.
And not only that, but it happens throughout the movie
as derp derp derp, and that's just embarrassing to me. And the fact that he ends up banging her and he's bang solid, then
he smacks her around and she dies, like, because she's a bad guy, but she's a CIA agent, and now she's a bad guy again. It's like they keep flipping it around, and it's not well done. I mean, the only movie that I can even think of as being as close to being that bad with the flip-flopping of a character just to suit whatever you want the movie to do would be Crystal Skull, and that still wasn't as bad as this, where it's like, I'm a buddy, I'm a double agent, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a bad guy, I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm a good guy. And in this, they keep doing that, and she's smart, she's stupid, she's smart, she's stupid. She's a CIA agent. Like, they could have just made her like an informant, because she's like, oh, she's a moron because she's just an informant for this. Oh, it turns out she's double-crossing Bond. Okay, they didn't need to make her a CIA agent.
Yeah, they pretty much do write that girl just to be stupid whenever they need her to be stupid, and I'm not a fan.
I agree.
And then as far as, you could tell me what you think. The only thing about the ending that I remember, the ending was dumb, but I just remember they cut to that one random henchman guy standing on the end of the train laughing. It's one of the few, I don't know if it's a cliffhanger or just it's meant to be like a stinger, but it's an odd beat to end the movie on, because it feels like danger's still out there, but we're never going to address it in a sequel.
Well, also, there's also a couple other things that are really weird about that character too, is that, when Bond shoots him and it turns out he's just a statue after we've already seen him move and stuff, and then it's destroyed and then he pops back up. So like that character throughout the movie, and all he does is laugh. Also, when he gets punched, he falls into a coffin of snakes and then he just stops moving and you're like, okay. And then they close the coffin, and then at the end he's on the train. It's just a bad movie. I don't know what else to say. And also, there's one more thing that I have to say. The use of the theme is horrendously awful. They use it in all the wrong spots.
I was about to bring this up, and I'm really glad, because I was literally about to say this. Here's the thing. It's a good song.
It's a great song. Yeah.
It doesn't fit what I'm looking at.
And they play it like during love scenes. Like they're kissing, and all of a sudden, da-na-na, da-na-na, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's my wife Jo she is like, I can't even watch this movie anymore because they don't know when to use the song. She's like, oh, they're playing the song, and there's even a disco version of it in one of the clubs he goes to, and it's awful.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so awful.
it's in it. That version of it is it's definitely. I don't know if I'd call it good, but it's certainly an interesting moment.
Well, it's not necessarily the version. I don't really care about the version. I hate the fact that it, much like the cards having to say 007 on it, every song that they hear in the movie has to be "Live and Let Die," and they just keep cutting and pasting pieces of the song in there. There's no, and it's just really bad. It's a really bad movie.
It
It's
is.
just bad.
Yeah, I was hoping it might have in my head. Because let me just put this on the forefront. Live and Let Die, I thought was bad. There's a few. We're gonna get to Man with the Golden Gun in a second. I enjoy Man with the Golden Gun,
Hmm.
but For Your Eyes Only, I enjoy. But I always in my head was like Moonraker sucks, Octopussy sucks, Video Will Kill sucks, and even though they do, I would rather watch those over Live and Let Die. I was
Oh, really?
surprised. Yeah, Live and Let Die just doesn't give me much, and that's I think one of its biggest faults. Is like this is all I got.
I would agree. I would agree with that, but I definitely would not watch View to a Kill over.
There are some dumber things than the other ones. There's some bigger, bolder swings that definitely are a big whiff, but I'll take those whiffs over like this. Like this really is it's flat lines for me.
It's a bad
Whereas
movie.
whereas I have expressed in the past to many people that I foolishly say this out loud. Oh, I like Man with the Golden Gun. People go,
Yeah.
look at that face you just made. I don't know if yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
The only
uh,
thing I could the villain. That's about it. That's all I got.
um, there's a few things that carry me through this movie, and I've been critical at times of other things similar to this, where when people go, "Oh, you can go see this movie," I go, "No." And they go, "Oh, but you like so and so who's in it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but just because someone's in it doesn't mean the movie looks good to me. Like, I don't go see a movie just because the person I like is in it.
Right.
Casting alone very rarely carries something for me.
Hmm.
But
Oh, yeah.
in this case, I love Britt Eklund. I love Christopher Lee. I think the year after this, they were both in Wicker Man together, or if it was the year before. All I know is I consider this a Wicker Man reunion. Um, and Hervé Vallès, like I don't know. I have, yes, it's silly at times. In fact, at some point, it gets a little silly and dull in the middle. Like my enjoyment dips for about like a half an hour. Um, but there's something fun. I like the vibe of silly. I don't know if it's intentional, but not in a so bad it's good. But it's like mediocre mac and cheese, and I'm just here to eat it up. It's comforting. Um,
Yeah, my Christopher Lee is a killer. He's
oh,
great,
just the charisma just oozing off him in this.
but also the problem with so this movie also, much like Live and Let Die, very early in the movie they lose me. The second there is a 1930s gangster in a fedora walking into a island, and then all of a sudden he turns a corner and opens a door, and all of a sudden he's in the Neverland Valley
Yeah,
Ranch
his mansion
with
has like a little fun house in it. It's
why
fun.
the that's the stupid that does not work for I was like this I was watching the movie and I'm like what the hell, and then he has a perfect wax statue
Yeah.
of James Bond, which is
Yeah.
really just Roger Moore with
Roger Moore standing on
pancake,
set. Yeah.
yeah, with some Donald Trump makeup on, so his face color doesn't look exactly right. Yeah, oh man, I tried too because I
Yeah.
was like Christopher Lee's in this one. I really
Oh,
tried. I mean, I sat through this whole movie hoping that at some point I would care. I also, and maybe they do say it, the the direction of the whole thing. It's kind of like when I was a teenager, right? I in high school, I was writing scripts because I wanted to write movies someday, and I wrote a Batman script, and I really easily fell into, without intentionally doing it, but fell into comedy writing these things because I was like 16, 17 years old, and falling into a comedy thing, and also that the characters are kind of in on the joke, and that's what I said earlier about Roger Moore. In this movie, it seems like he's not a secret agent anymore. He's a dude that everybody knows, and there's some bad guy who thinks he's a better shot than he is, and he challenges him, and so he's gonna have to go there so he can face off with him, and it just sounds so stupid. Like, it's just so stupid.
What you're describing is kind of why I like it.
I just can't. Like, it's almost like, well, because like even the Batman, like Bane, I keep using Batman, I don't know why, but the Nightfall thing of like,
wonder why.
yeah, of Nightfall, where Bane is like, I know that Batman exists, I'm gonna go fight him. That was less cheesy, dude. Doomsday becoming a wrestler and fighting people in a wrestling, you know, match like on WWE, for some reason it's stupid, but it seems less stupid than James Bond getting a call from M and saying, hey, there's this guy and he wants to kill you. And then also M is such an asshole in this movie to Bond. And that's something else in the Roger Moore movies, where M is just a complete asshole to Bond all the time, where it just comes off like, okay, two buddy cops, angry chief, this is the last time you're going to do this, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way the Die Hard movies went,
He's a little more stern with them in the beginning.
There's even a point where he says, I wish he had taken a hit out on you. And I'm just like, what? I don't know. It's trash.
I don't know. First of all, in a franchise full of eccentric villains and and absurd layers, it's just the right level of no, there's a guy and he has property on this little island that the government allows him to have, and in exchange, but in his estate, he built a little fun house, and I went, yeah, that's an eccentric thing to do, and it's silly, and I'm here for it. I buy it. It's a strange thing, and I don't think it's meant to be cool. I think it's meant to be like, that's a weird thing for a guy to do, and this weird thing did it.
Yeah, I didn't get that from it. I got it from like, ooh, we want a cool sequence where Bond goes through a fun house and weird shit happens. And so how are we gonna set it up? Oh, he has a fun house.
He has a fun house in his place. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Didn't land.
There are things that don't work for me in this. First of all, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that goddamn sheriff is back.
Oh.
And the thing that gets me is, I
watched these two back to back. By the way, I watched these two back to back.
So that's not a good sitting for you.
No, it's
when you have a character that resonates. This happens with sequels, especially in the 80s. You'd have that funny guy showed up, and now he's in the movie a lot more. And,
it's like Speed 2, right? Cruise Control, Jazzman, baby.
Yeah, Jazzman. No, Toon Man.
Oh, Toon Man, sorry.
Toon Man's, well, because his car had a license plate Toon Man, so now there's a boat, and it's the Toon Man 2.
Yeah.
But no, remember Joe Pesci, Lethal Weapon 2? Well, now he's going to eat it more. Like, we have to, bring everyone back. Now, it's the same level, because I like Joe Pesci, but, here's
No, I agree. Joe Pesci should not have been in the rest of the Lethal Weapon movies, and I love those movies. He should not have been in those.
But this is only coming out a year after the last one, so, how much time do they really have to, I'm just saying there's not enough time for the audience to be like, oh, we love the sheriff. And they're like, well, the audience demands it. I don't know what producer was like, let's bring him back. But maybe they're having a better time with him than I am. I'm not having a good time with them. It is, you're bothered by the mansion. I'm bothered by the fact that he happens to be in the same river that Bond is and goes, hey, you're that secret agent fella, aren't you? And then they end up bumping into each other and then getting in a car adventure.
Yeah. Also, another part that just didn't work for me was, once again, it feels like they're in on the joke. Christopher Lee walks over, and it's the slowest scene I've ever seen. That's another thing. The Roger Moore movies are so slow. I mean, like the fight scenes, you'll see them walk in and go, oh, like it's so bad. But there's that scene where Christopher Lee sets up, and it's actually a really cool weapon that he has, where he's going to use solar energy. And it reminded me of a lot of driving up to Vegas, where they have the big solar energy. I think that'd be a great setup for if they were to redo a Man with the Golden Gun kind of movie, like they were doing with the Daniel Craig movies, where it's like, this is kind of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This is kind of that. If they did a Man with the Golden Gun type of villain using solar power to screw things up, you shoot it in Vegas at that big thing. Like, that's what it reminded me of. But he takes so long to walk over, explain that he has a gun. I'm like, oh, he's going to shoot his plane? Why is he going to shoot his plane? He's still pretending like they're cool. What an asshole. And it's so slow, takes forever, and then Bond is like this.
My plane.
And then he looks worried too. Goes, now, like in Death Becomes Her, now a warning? Like he's totally. I would have been like this, bitch. You shoot my plane. If you point that thing at my plane, I'm gonna take you out. Instead, he's just like this. He's being charming, and then all of a sudden, he just goes, "What'd you do?" Like it's like Tommy Boy. Like it was just.
Well, to me there are large swaths of this movie that I find fun, faulty, silly, but fun. But there are little bits. There's this whole middle part where he gets Christopher Lee plays Scaramanga, who you find out that he's been hired by this other guy to kill the guy who developed the thing for the device, and Roger Moore goes to that, pretends to be Scaramanga, gets captured by that guy, and instead of killing him right away, they send him to like their kung fu academy, where some women come to prep him for the night so he can bang them or bang one of them. And then the next morning, it's just a Bruce Lee movie for 15 minutes.
Well, it's funny because also I don't even think it's 15 minutes long. I think it's 5 minutes long because it is such a quick.
It feels like it.
It feels forever, but it's literally you walk away and grab a Coke from the refrigerator and come down, and this sequence has no point on the rest of the movie.
No, it doesn't.
But it's slow as crap. But it happens for no reason
other than two other guys fight, and then he gets up.
We need a shot of him in a karate gi, so that people will watch this movie because martial arts movies are the thing.
Right now. Yeah, Bruce Lee's doing really well, so we have to.
They're so hot right now. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say this about all the Roger Moore movies, so I guess now is as good a time as any. But that kung fu fight stinks, and I hate to speak ill of the dead. All right, because the sad fact is that Roger Moore, while he isn't my favorite Bond by a long shot, outside of Bond, seemed to be a pretty good dude who cared a lot about animals, did a lot of really
Out to Sea is very underrated.
Roger Moore's a good dude, but one thing.
Oh, not Out to Sea. Boat Trip. Sorry, Boat Trip.
Boat Trip.
Underrated.
One thing Roger Moore does not succeed at is his fight scenes are pretty flaccid and across the board, and all like Connery. You believe was a brawler, and and Lazenby definitely could brawl, and this guy, I mean, some of them are just like.
Well, Timothy Dalton can fight, Daniel Craig can fight, and Lazenby can fight. Connery is a big dude; he's like fighting somebody.
Roger Moore, there's just nothing there, and there's no, and part of it's the fight choreography, but also it's because the limitations of who they have to work with, and it's just. There's no zip, there's no pow to any of his fight scenes across 7 movies. So that's a bummer for me. One little thing that it's a nitpick, but it's a nitpick because it's in a moment that otherwise I would love. It's one of my favorite car stunts I've ever seen.
Oh,
one of my favorite stunts in a Bond movie.
Yeah,
the broken bridge and another twisted broken bridge, and in that car jumps over the bridge and does a flip and lands. Awesome stunt.
Super dope.
Ruined by. You want to do it for me?
Woo! Yeah. And it's funny because you always bring that up in the movie Batman and Robin. Zip when the guy falls down, and this is exactly that. But
Batman and Robin, it makes me laugh. I'm okay with it because because that is the equivalent
of the Batman TV series.
Yes, if Batman and Robin is the live-action version of the TV show, and the TV show had Biff Bang Pow and sound effects as text, this is now just sound effects as sound effects, so I'm okay with it.
Right.
But that flipping car just really bums me out, man.
There's no reason for that sound. No reason for that sound.
No reason. And then the only other thing that bums me out, and I like her. I like Britt Eklund a lot. And to me, there's no denying just when some people, you put a camera on them and they read. And like Britt Eklund belongs on screen. Mm-hmm. No doubt. But Goodnight, as a character, is far. I don't ever want another, at least a lead Bond girl. I don't mind if he meets a girl in a casino and she's like, James, and then they bang. But to have your main Bond girl just be so googly-eyed.
But also, she also, once again, this is another loop of another Bond movie. She is as stupid with doing anything as the chick in Live and Let Die. She can't shoot a gun.
It's back to back. two
Yeah, and she
movies in a
can't.
row, we have two inept agents. I hate that
Yeah,
she's going up to like Scaramanga's car and they get the one up on her and throw her in the trunk. And I'm like,
yeah.
come
Well, so
on.
yeah, there's two movies
If
back
it
to
was
back with it.
Bond, if it was Bond sneaking up to that car, it would not have happened. And the fact
Mm-mm.
that she's still an agent, that shouldn't have happened to her either. And they wrote her to be that stupid. And not
Well,
only did they
and
write her
this,
stupid,
yeah,
but
the
they write her to have these giant hearts in her eyes, as if like there's this history where she's been wanting that dick for a while. And all these are about like, hey, remember how we want to fuck? Oh, yeah, so we want to fuck. And then every scene's like, so are we gonna bang? And then like, oh no, someone's here hiding this thing. Oh, I don't gonna fuck them now. Like the whole, it's all just, I'm James. And
I feel like they
I don't buy
honestly.
that as an agent.
No, I think
No.
they wanted this to be Money Penny. I think when whoever was writing it was like, we're gonna, we want to do a movie that's a story that's a little edgier with the Money Penny. Edgy and Roger Moore don't really go together, but when it comes to the sexual tension with Bond and Money Penny, at this time it's going to be a female agent, this Money Penny. Da 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 da. At the end, stuff's going to finally happen, but it's never going to happen. Like the sequence where she's locked in the closet while he's sleeping with
Yeah.
somebody else. All of it is so silly. Or when he's under the laser and he's like yelling at her to save him, and
Oh,
she's
and
just,
she bumps it, the little trigger with her butt, and fucks everything up.
oh, it's so stupid. I can't. I'm
Yeah, no. Again, what she
so
brings
the
to
spy who loved me.
no, well, the, you know, sometimes I write little notes, and I haven't really reviewed them, but I wrote down again in this movie. Well, I'm gonna write my notes, read them verbatim. There's no flirting. It's okay. I'm actually just not gonna read it. Okay, so yeah, this was two movies in a row where he shows up, and like within like just a matter of moments, he kind of raises his eyebrows, and he just like when he enters a scene with a woman, he just expects sex is going to happen,
Yeah.
and
No
he's always
cards. No
expecting it.
cards.
There's no charm. The women just overtly want him, and without any like dialogue or flirting or like even declarations, they just sort of engage. And this is symptomatic of a lot of Bond movies I noticed with Roger Moore, where I swear to God, they feel like porn movies, like the way porn used to be, like in the 70s and 80s, when it's like, "Hi, I'm here to fix your plumbing. Oh, my faucet's broken." He will
There's a
literally just
kid.
walk in.
Yeah.
He will just
Like
meet a
there's
girl,
a
and
cat
she'll
in
be
my
like,
tree. Yeah.
"Oh, uh, I forget. It's one of the other. He's in that dumb little. Later, we'll get to it, but in that submarine that looks like an iceberg, and it's just
Oh
like
God. And
pushes
Vito
the
would kill.
the couch
Oh.
turns into a bed, and he just goes, "I don't know. What are we gonna do to kill time for 5 hours?"
Oh
But
Jesus.
I'm not anti-sex in movies. I'm not against sex in general, and I'm not shaming anything. Like in real life, I don't shame sex workers, and I'm all for sexuality in movies if it's earned, if it's part of the story, or if it's handled well. But what I don't like is cheap. What I don't like is poorly handled and stupid. And what I don't like in a even in a fun Bond movie is just like a woman walks in a frame and then just like, oh, oh, it's just stupid. I'm not
Oh
impressed by it.
James.
I don't think it's cool. I just think it's stupid. And just
It's
I miss at least with Connery there's flirting, right? There was the attempt of seduction. There was
well.
moments that led to it. And now
Well, and even after that,
walk into a room and it just starts. And that's
yeah,
not
even after that, they learned their lesson. Somehow, after Roger Moore was gone, everybody has to have build up, and there has to be some kind of sexual tension.
yeah.
I mean, right after Roger Moore, you do Living Daylights. There is sexual chemistry there.
Mhm.
License to Kill with the two women that he messes around with. Even the opening scene of Living Daylights, when he lands on top of the thing, I need a real man. He jumps and he goes, I have to borrow your phone. And he's gorgeous. He's fit. She wants a real man. Like you just that little bit of setup. And then it's not even, they do it. She goes, care to join me? And he goes, I reported an hour. Don't you care to join me? And he goes, better make it 2. That's great.
And that's a Connery callback too.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
but the Roger Moore era, it seems like, and no offense, but who's the guy who's the head of Playboy? What's his name?
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. Bro, this is Hugh Hefner. Okay, I know that at 90 years old, he's not sleeping with a bunch of hot chicks. So they always had to like overdo it. He's going to wear pajamas and there's going to be half naked blonde bimbos all around him and blah, 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 blah. And he gets all the chicks that have sex in the jacuzzi. That was the biggest, wake up to me that Hugh Hefner is not cool. He might have been in the 60s. Before he passed, he was just an old man trying to pretend that he still could get it up. And that's what Roger Moore feels like to me. It's like we are trying so hard. Oh, women see him and their pants fall off. I'm like, Lazenby, I get that. Connery, as an old man, women are like, God, he is so sexy. He just exudes it. Roger Moore, and watch Boat Trip if anybody wants to have Roger Moore ruined for them. I see Roger Moore as the guy in Boat Trip. The entire time I watch, it's Boat Trip. It's Roger Moore. He's more interested in the main villain than in the girl. I don't know, it just seems silly to me. The whole thing seems very contrived and stupid. So that was my piece on that.
Yeah.
Even the duel sucked. Even the gun duel sucked even. Like, God. And he kills the bad guy in such a stupid way. Oh, we couldn't. Oh, it's going to be the wax figure and it's going to really be him in the hand. Is it messed up? I can't.
It's fun. I don't know. I have a good time. I like the music. I like the cast.
The music isn't bad. The cast isn't bad.
Scaramanga has a third nipple. He puts Hervé Valchez in a little piece of luggage and throws him off the boat. I
love that. Also, another part of that is interesting, considering in the last one, the 007 cards and everything is like, in this one, when he shows up pretending to be him, the nipple's in the wrong place, which I appreciated because I go, of course he wouldn't know where the nipple is.
The whole point is people don't know. They've just heard.
Right. But in the previous movie or in some of the following movies, it would look identical because the directors were in on the joke.
Right. Here's the last thing I'll say in praise of this movie. This is actually, I can't believe I didn't bring this up because it's my number one thing I like about it, is unlike other Bond movies where the villain has a scheme for world domination or to usurp something or to cause Russia and the US to attack each other, I like that this villain, I think it's the only one that I can recall where the villain's just like, I just want to kill James Bond.
Like, I think I like that. They could have handled it better.
No, but yeah, to a certain degree, yes, they could have maybe taken it more seriously and made it a little more slick. But I really find it refreshing that the setup is like, well, yeah, I've been killing people, and one day I want to kill that dude. And even though I mean, it's one thing for like them to get the bullet. You go, hey, I think this guy wants to kill you, and then James is like, well, what if I go find out some information? We bring the fucking fight to him then, because fuck this guy. All right, and that's
I like the 007. I like the 007 engraved on the gold bullet. That was cool.
Once we find out that the bullet wasn't even sent by him, but sent by someone else, and then for a bit, the movie, for most of the movie, it's almost just you think that Scaramanga has to kill him. Then we find out Scaramanga is working for someone else, and then he happens to like kill him and inherit that guy's equipment. So we still have that typical Bond ending where it's a layer with some intentions, but you know that this was never like Scaramanga's intention. It's just something that sort of befell. He inherited something, that he could work with. But even in the end, it's just, there's this guy I really want to kill. I'm going to do it. I like that. It's simple. And in this,
I just
find it refreshing.
I think it was handled really poorly. Also, once again, here's another repeat. Like I said previously, Live and Let Die, the villain survives and shows up for no reason. Mm-hmm. Little guy, same thing. There's also the button on the last one before the guy laughs on the back of the train. The train fight seems very similar to the boat fight, except now it's a midget instead of a guy with a robotic arm. And it just, and I know that they're aware of stuff because the continuity team clearly added in a line that Roger Moore says and goes, did you get all the glass off the bed? Because we just saw them, shatter wine bottles all over also Bond is the worst at fighting. Like when he's like trying to breaks a chair, it's just so bad. But when he says, did you get all the glass off the bed? That's clearly because they watched the shot and they were like, yeah, dude, you have to say something because it won't make sense. But the rest of the movie, they don't care about that. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Also, I know that the term midget is not the preferred term for those in that community, but I do find it funny because I'm going to quote it that like when Bond is leaving, like I forget if they were watching like a boxing fight or they were going to watch something, and What's-Her-Nuts got shot, and he's leaving, and and he sees Goodnight, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, just look out because there's this midget with a gun." And she goes, "I'm a midget." And I'm like, "Yeah, grow up. You're an agent. Little people exist." Like, why is she so like if her character's like a 15-year-old girl, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, teehee, it's funny." But like, he doesn't come out going midget with a gun. I don't know. I just as much as I like
Oh
her
man.
character is such a buffoon. Yeah, I'm not hip to it.
Another dumb
But
female agent in a bikini. That's what it
yeah,
is.
Spy Who Loved Me is one of the few Bond movies that I don't remember much about. So
I don't either. It's so
I
funny. When I went and watched it today, I was surprised at how much I don't. I mean, it
yeah,
repeats all the same things in all the other Bond movies,
I
but
had an okay time.
it wasn't bad. The tone is
No,
correct. The tone is right. Even though
no.
the movie is iffy, I also the kills in this one, when Bond kills somebody, he's James Bond again. Because one thing about Bond that is cool in the book, in the Connerys, in most of the Connerys, I should think all of them, the Daltons, the Daniel Craigs, even some of the Brosnan ones, he kills without mercy. So I
Mm-hmm.
love the part where he takes the gun after what's his nuts had been shooting people under the table. He takes the gun, just shoves it in the barrel, and just goes blah blah blah, shoots him two or three times in the crotch, and then shoots him 2 or 3 times in the chest. I was like this. The way the guy died was kind of anticlimactic. You could tell he was like trying to hang on to it. He's like, ugh. I
Yeah.
was like, bro, you just got shot in the nuts 3 times. You're dead. But I appreciated Roger Moore being. This is also the one where he drops the guy off the cliff, right? Like
No.
this. No, which one is? See, these all blur together. But the
When the guy's in the car?
no. When the guy's just standing on the edge of the cliff, is that
I don't remember. I watched this like
Oh,
2 weeks ago.
that might be Moonraker. But in any case, but the there's some kills in this one that just seem to happen without prejudice. He just is like, "You're the bad guy. I'm gonna kill you." There's no witty banter here. You're dead. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool."
there's not too many eye-rolling jokes. My favorite thing about this is it's just like a pretty modest adventure, and
Mhm.
it's not too silly.
Yeah, I mean, they do rip off Doctor No and all the other movies, like all the Roger Moore movies do. They just kind of repeat the same stuff. But also, guess what? They got the note that dumb woman in a bikini is not what we want to see this time because they
Right.
actually treat her not with full respect but as of the time, how they treat females in the Roger Moore Bond films.
She's
They
more of
treat
a
her
real
with
character.
more. She's a character, and you care about her. And by the end, and you're hoping she doesn't figure out that he's the one that killed her partner. And when it happens, you're kind of like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, no, I had just have that reminds me of just an issue I have with this though. I mean, it still comes back to the fact that in this movie, women instantly fall for him. The
Yeah,
second
I
he
don't like.
shows
Yeah,
up, they throw themselves at him.
yeah.
And again, just like the last one, there's something about his performance where he is expecting the sex. It still feels like a
Yeah.
porno in this
Oh,
movie.
he really is. He's nudging her the whole time.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious. Yeah.
What gets me is that I thought they did a good job of first introducing the fact that she finds out that I think it's not husband, just like there's another guy she's into, like her boyfriend or her whatever, her lover is dead and was killed when he was on mission and there's a British agent involved. And they plant these little seeds where like, you don't want her to find out. Then she does find out and you're like, oh shit. And then she tells him like, hey, did you do this? Yeah, I did. Cool. When this is all done, like I'm going to kill you. And I'm
Mhm.
like, cool. So much of it is played pretty seriously. So it's not a comedy
Yeah.
where the ending I'm okay with. They set that up, then the finale of the movie happens, and without any preamble or anything, where they're in like a little pod together, I think.
Yeah. Where
And
everybody's
she
around
pulls out
him.
the gun, and then we're gonna fucking set it. I'm like, wait, what? It's not. It doesn't. First of all, they don't even really have chemistry, so there's not
Oh,
even
there's no
any.
chemistry.
I
No.
don't feel like
It's
any
like it's
conflict.
old man. It's old
Right.
man with yeah.
If there were scenes where I could see her conflicted with her feelings because she is attracted to him, they do have chemistry, and now how do I feel? But it's out of nowhere at the 0 hour. Teehee, it's a Bond movie. Let's bang, and it throws away everything that came before it
Agreed.
just to have a sex gag at the end. And I think
Agreed. And then
stupid.
yeah, I agreed. And especially because her character is so much more engaging and better written and better acted. Some of the dubbing is real weird with her mouth, but give her the weird
Right.
accent and all stuff. Why they dubbed her, I'll never know.
But the
But
fact that
it's
okay,
it's weird. But
it's
the
such a
ending
dumb
just
payoff. It's not a good payoff. It's
yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. It's
Um, the little thing again, little continuity, and you and I like anytime they mention a reference on
the
Her
wife.
Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, this is a great scene. Yes,
Fuck,
this is a great scene.
she's reading off his roster. She mentions his wife, and
He gets pissed
one,
off.
I like hearing that reference, and then two, he doesn't take it well.
No, she goes, and died short time after. And she starts talking, and then he just cuts her off. He's like, we're done. And I'm like this. Oh my goodness. And there's some homage with the Roger Moore movies about the wife, but about Tracy dying. But that was a good one. It's a really good one. It's a great scene. In fact, if you saw that one scene, you saw that one thing, you would go, oh my God, this movie's deep.
Yeah, if it sounds like the one clip you saw, and instead you have Jaws, biting things.
Oh, yeah, man, Jaws.
I wish I remember as a kid, I mean, again, like an 8-year-old watching some clips of these. Like I remember my dad would just be like, hey, watch this guy. And to me, Jaws appeals to a certain generation that maybe would find that silly thing appealing, or to kids. But I'm 39, and I like Richard Peele in other stuff. I like EGA. I like fucking Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah, dude.
He's a legend. Yeah,
man,
but
when
there's some really good exotic locations in this. The plot doesn't get too. It's
the base is cool. The kind of Injustice Society. The cool base that comes out of the water. I was like, that looks cool. It looks fake as shit, but it looks super cool.
Yeah, the aquatic.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah.
But then of course, then here we got to go. He has to have a shark, and there's a hand in there, and I'm like, oh my God, we're doing this again. We're not doing it well. We're still doing it silly. And also, what happens at the ending? The bad guy henchman fights Bond on a train. You think he dies, falls in the water, survives, and at the end of the movie, we know Jaws is still out there. How do they not have all these people show up for A View to a Kill? They should have brought all of them back for View to a Kill, because then I would go, at least it paid off, and that's funny, and let's send Roger Moore out with all these guys showing up. And but at least Jaws shows up in the next one, I guess. But
yeah,
so bad. And Jaws fights a shark. He bites a shark, and then the magnet takes his mouth, and his mouth is connected to the magnet, and he's hanging there. It's so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. And I think, is there an underground elevated train in this one too? I feel like there is. It's so stupid. The whole movie is so stupid again. Oh God. And and that's the thing, is that she is so great. And in those moments,
she's really good.
She's great. And when there's those moments, like you go, and that's the problem with the Roger Moore movies in general, is that you go, oh my God, we're gonna do something here, and then they go, nah, fuck you.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, she was the original XXX spy, by the way, long before Vin Diesel. She was.
That's right. She is Agent. Yeah, she is Agent XXX. That's right.
Right.
I mean, and that's corny as shit too, but
which is appropriate though, considering some of the romance scenes feel like 70s XXX movies.
Yeah, this is true.
And then I was trying to. I remember I got so confused because I'm watching this, and I always sit through the credits. Even at home, I sit through the credits. First of all, Bond movies, though, 60s and 70s, the credits are over like in a minute. But
I noticed that. I noticed that with Live and Let Die. It was like
they front load so much in the opening credits. No, but every Bond movie, some of them they would end like with the Connery era. It would just be like, boom, Bond's going to return in Goldfinger.
Yeah,
other
Bond
ones,
will return. Yeah,
especially growing up in the 90s, it always said it at the very, very, very end. And they always say Bond will return, because we don't know what the fuck the title of the next movie is 4 years from now. But back then, they're like, this is the next book, or this is the next movie we're doing. Let's go.
For Your Eyes
and
Only.
The credits, For Your Eyes Only. And I went, fuck, I could have sworn Moonraker is next. Pull up the discs, look at the year of For Your Eyes Only. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Moonraker is next. So I don't know what it is behind the scenes where they opted to not do For Your Eyes Only. But we got Moonraker next, which... I think going into watching all these, I was expecting, if we ever decide to rank these, I always had.
We should do that.
All right. Die Another Day was always at the bottom. We'll see if it still's at the bottom. I know you have View to a Kill at the bottom. I always had it a second from the bottom. I think Moonraker's worse.
Moonraker is really bad.
Super bad.
Moonraker is really. I still hate View to a Kill, but
I think it's the worst more. And I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, we may have to go into that, but Moonraker. So here's my apology. You ready for my apology?
Oh, yeah, sure.
For years, you would bring up For Your Eyes Only as the best Moore movie. And you would go, it's kind of dark, and there's this, and there's that, and there's this, and we're going to get to For Your Eyes Only after Moonraker, but I would say no, because I would go, wait, am I confusing them again? Moonraker is the one with the bolos, right? And they go around somebody's neck, and their Q is in there, and he's dressed. Or is that? Oh, I'm sorry, getting mixed up again. The Moores always just run together. But
Yeah.
which one is the one where Roger Moore is dressed as Clint Eastwood, has the poncho, and then he sees Q in the base, and Q is testing bolos that wrap around a dummy's head. And
Yeah, I can't remember.
And there's the white car that goes underwater.
Oh yeah, that's
Isn't that Moonraker? That's Moonraker, right?
Does Moonraker have the car? No, I could have sworn.
It's not Octopussy. It's not Feed or Kill.
I think Spy Who Loved Me has the car.
Okay, cool. I hate that. I think you're right. I think you're right that it is. Oh God, I see all these movies. I guess I watched all these movies like back to back now, so they're all running together. So
I'm pretty
Spy
sure
Who Loves
Spy
Me.
Who Loved Me has the car that turns into a fucking submarine.
So sorry for me to regress. My apology, because I thought it was a Moonraker. My apology is this.
Okay.
I'm so sorry I ever badmouthed For Your Eyes Only, because I thought the Bolo sequence, the Clint Eastwood outfit, and the underwater car were from For Your Eyes Only, but they're not. They're from Spy Who Loved Me, and it's trash. Now we can. Sorry, I'll go back to. So that was my apology that I was mixing it up after those years. Clearly, I still do it because Moonraker and The Spy Who Loves Me and The Man with the Golden Gun and Live and Let Die just kind of, and Octopussy to me go all together because it's just trash. But
kind of a distinct. There's a lack. There's a lack of distinct villains. So that some of the plots, some of the Bond women, and some of the villains all kind of just sort of blend.
Yeah, well, not that, but also with the reoccurring train fights, the reoccurring underwater fights, the recurring dumb woman in a bikini that's supposed to be an agent, the villains who all dress like Dr. No and wear a single colored suit. It keeps repeating, so I blend those all together. But Moonraker is no different. Now just the villain looks, it's easier to identify the villain in Moonraker because as soon as he shows up and pretends he's not a bad guy, as soon as he shows up, he's clearly the villain. Of course, they repeat this again in View to a Kill, but he's supposed to be this brilliant Elon Musk type of guy. But it has, there's also now my mind is all over the place. There's a great dark scene in this where the woman that shows Bond the bad guy's mansion and stuff, and she's easily one of the best looking Bond girls in my opinion of this era, but she's more my type. But she gets chased by the dogs. When the bad guy sends the dogs after her in the woods, it's so dark. So dark.
Oh, I totally remember what you're talking about now. Yeah, I remember when that scene started. I'm like, oh, we're doing this. Okay.
Yeah, and not that, but also they had established she's in the first half hour, or at least the second, right? In the first 20 minutes of post credits, she's in there, and she's quite beautiful, very nice, not stupid ditz. And then the bad guy gets pissed that she messed around with Bond and says, "You're fired." And she's like, "What?" And he sends her out into the forest and sends dogs after her. And it's shot very dark. It reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, but Something Wicked This Way Comes. There's great footage of these boys are running through the dark forest, and you're scared. You even know what's happening. They're not even being chased by anything, but you feel like they are. They shot her. It's very similar to that, and she's being chased by the dogs. It's very intense. And then when the dogs finally get to her, what happens, and then she's just not mentioned. It's pretty dark. It's supposed to happen in California, which is funny because in California they'd be like, "Hey, where's your assistant, bro?" Especially if he was like a world famous, industrialist type of millionaire guy. But yeah.
One nice thing I liked about this movie is that in my head I thought much more of it took place in space.
Me too.
So when I watched it, I'm like, oh, it's refreshing how like 3/4 of this movie are a traditional bad Roger Moore Bond movie and not just outer space.
The laser fight though, jeez.
Well, I feel like we'll get to that in a moment. I just want to start by saying the stunt in the beginning is fucking dope. The skydive out the plane.
The falling one, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it reminded me of like Mission Impossible, the latest one, where they do that long take sky jump. But that's impressive because they bridged 3 different shots to make it one long shot, and isn't that cool? But I'm thinking about like just back in the 70s, like what the cameraman is able to capture and what the stuntmen are able to perform. Like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then they ruin it by having it be a dumb little Jaws gag where he like lands in a circus tent or whatever.
Yeah, because
And
Jaws
all
pushes
this
Bond out of
goodwill,
the.
this fucking gnarly stunt.
Yeah,
And then
Jaws pushes him out of the plane,
yeah.
right? And then he falls forever. And then Jaws jumps.
And
What's
he
funny is
takes the one dude's parachute and manages to put it on, and then
what's funny is that Bond is falling without a parachute, right?
Yeah.
So why does Jaws go after him? Jaws just been like, off you go. It should have been like straight up Duck Dodgers, like boom, off you go, and then that's the end of the movie. Credits.
And then right after that moment, that dumb moment, we have what might be it's not my favorite Bond song.
Moonraker, go.
It's the first time in the series where I went.
I don't know. The Man with the Golden Gun theme is.
Oh, I love it.
We don't agree. It's so swinging.
That's a fun, good time, man. Love.
I like. Yeah.
Whenever he's hired. Oh, it's great. It's a good time.
I don't know if I can't co-sign that.
It isn't the most serious or cool Bond song. It's a little cheesy, but Moonraker just kind of blows. I don't like this song at all.
Moonraker sucks. Yeah, it's a crap song. It's a crap movie. They go to space.
Once again, I feel like this happens I think I mentioned, but it's just a note. I'm watching this going, man, sex sure comes easy to him. He just shows up and he starts kissing people on the face. Except even though this isn't even his last Bond movie, I remember going, geez, Bond's old in this one.
He's old as shit in this. And even when he's in the spacesuit, it looks really strange with the fake tan and the coiffed hair and everything. Oh, it's really weird. It's weird. And what's funny is because the villain, I like what the villain looks like and his style and how he talks and everything. I find him genuinely imposing. And then you see Bond show up and it's this old guy. It's
the villain has a good vibe.
Yeah, he's a
very measured vibe to him. I really dig it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this, I think, more than any of the, maybe one other, but this one has some of the worst fighting of Roger Moore.
Oh yeah,
just swinging and lumbering, and I don't know. It also has some of the worst. I would argue some of the worst humor of any Bond movie.
Well, I mean, even the ones that should be easy. Like the one he says after he sends the bad guy to the airlock, he had to had to fly or something. Like none of it lands. It's all very like that should have been an easy one to land, and it doesn't. It doesn't land at all.
No, but when the fucking gondola transforms into like a land gondola, and he comes out, and he's going through the fucking bird. That's where they take there's a shot of a bird. If you're watching this and you don't know, like the footage they got was a bird doing this, and then what they do is they reverse and forward it. So as if because all the citizens are as Bond is driving a motorized gondola like through the streets of Venice, a bird's like what? And
what's with the carpet too? Like it's so badly designed from a story point of view. The gondola is the gondola. It comes out of the water, and all of a sudden, when it's driving through the city, it has this carpet around where where the wheels are. But if it was actually in the water, where would that go?
Yeah, I don't even remember the carpet. I just remember doesn't something like inflate around it, and then it.
Well, no, because when he's driving it, he clearly doesn't match the inflatable thing. It's just like a red. It's like I think it's in my head. It's red, but everything's red today in my background in my shirt. But it's like a weird carpet with like hanging tassels or something under it, clearly covering the wheels. And did you know that sequence, they didn't get releases from any of the people that were there. They weren't extras. They were all actual people on vacation, and they tried to hide Roger Moore as much as possible from the press. So they were just like, they just cleared certain areas, and they said, "Watch out, here it comes." People were like, "Oh, it's James Bond," and that's how they got the reactions. And the guy pouring it's Superman 3. The guy pouring the water on the head of the guy in the restaurant. Oh God, it's Superman 3. It's trash. It's just trash. Is this still Guy Hamilton? Who's the one directing this?
I don't know.
Oh God, it's so bad. So bad.
Also,
I think it's Guy Hamilton. he almost directed Superman. Jesus,
The
can you
the
imagine?
the other thing is the girl that Jaws likes is none of that shit's funny, but this cart I don't get it.
With the
Like
pigtails and the
she's got
glasses.
pigtails and big glasses and she's doofy, so therefore she'd fall in love with Jaws. I don't know, but the fact that he first of all, it's not funny. The music cue when like they see each other and they're like hee hee hee. I
It's
don't.
like the
First of all, I don't
'70s
want to
love
see
theme. Isn't it?
Jaws go hee hee hee. Um,
Yeah.
and that alone is bad. But then the fact that Jaws clearly he had to ask, but he gets to take her to the space station. It's written to be like a turning point where Bond points out to Jaws because the villain's plan is to take. First of all, the plan is I'm gonna get a bunch of hot people so they can come up to my space station and fuck. Essentially,
And
I'm gonna wipe out life on planet Earth and repopulate it. But
and make babies up in
I
space.
got
Yeah.
these two hot white people and another group of hot white people, some hot gingers. I got some hot black people and all these hot, perfectly non-biracial couples or anything, and they're gonna fuck and make hot babies for my planet. And it's not until Bond points out like, hey, so anyone who's not one of these hot fuckers, they're out, right? And he's like, well, yeah. And then he looks at Jaws, and Jaws is like, "Oh, my girlfriend." Not to say that like everyone else working on the space station doesn't also qualify for that, but whatever. But I just,
I always find it funny in
if
movies
you
like this
know
where they
that,
take a hot girl and make her look nerdy, and they go, "She's ugly. See, she has
because
glasses."
she's
It's
totally pretty. Yeah,
yeah.
it's such a silly thing that I feel like Jaws should have thought of. I don't buy it. It's a dumb beat.
It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. Oh my god.
I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. He also kills someone. Like there's a chase and he throws someone into like a billboard and it lined up with the billboard in a funny way. All these
Yeah.
jokes, they don't work. And there was I had to look this. This was the first time, and it happens in other. I don't remember when it happens in the next movie or two movies later. But there's plenty of Bond jokes that are just stale,
Hmm.
or Bond lines or quips or asides that make me either roll my eyes or just go, well, that's kind of a dad joke, whatever. But
Yeah.
but was it Dr. Goodhead? Dr. Goodhead's putting him
Dr. Goodhead. Yeah.
in the spinny machine, and she's and 1G is this and 2G, and then it's like a 70-year-old man can take 3Gs, and Bond goes, well, the trouble is there's never a 70-year-old man would need one, and I went,
Aren't you
wait, what?
70?
What does that even fucking mean? The
Yeah. I
trouble
don't.
is there's
Yeah.
not a 70-year-old man around who need one. I don't get it. And then like
Story of my life. What?
movies later, he
Yeah.
mentioned something, and I just went, "What? Who's writing this shit? Because it's not
Yeah. They don't.
fucking
They
funny."
don't even. They don't even know if they're jokes anymore. They're just throwing them out there to see if people laugh. They
The
might as
one
well have dubbed in laughter from the audience.
This movie does introduce, well, actually, it doesn't introduce, but it introduces an element. There, one fun thing about this, much like how Felix Leiter showed up in a lot of Connery movies, Felix only shows up in Live and Let Die. Well, that's it for this.
Yep.
But what
Gone.
we do get is this like Russian general who's in almost
Oh
all
yeah.
of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
same dude every time, and
Hmm.
he's mostly pretty good. And
Hmm.
I
And
like
the defense minister, right, shows up in this and in View
he's
to a
in
Kill, Octopussy, and Living Daylights.
he's in this. He's in For Your Eyes Only. He's in Octopussy. He's in View to a Kill. I can't remember if he's in Spy Who. Yeah, he's in Spy Who Loved Me because he's the one who's like triple.
Right, and he's in because of the Russian thing, but he's in
Yeah.
Living Daylights as well.
Yes, he is.
He's actually serious in that one.
Right.
It's really funny
Whereas
because
in
the tone
this
is
one,
so.
whereas in this one, like the scene he's in, there's like of course, like right at the end of the scene, like some girls like come over and like lean on him, and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Cool." So like even in Russia, we have like it doesn't go anywhere, but I'm like, we have the scene, we have the dialogue. Make sure some girl that he like gets to look at her ass before, and then in the very next movie, like I think he's also talking to someone, and then there's a girl, and he's like, "Let me kiss you," like arbitrary, whatever. But I like that dude. But I found it really weird that in this movie he comes off as I remember writing down pervy general, like he's just kind of a
Yeah.
perv. But yeah, I feel like, and then I think before we stop talking about this fucking movie, you can't deny the ending where all of the bad guys go out into space with their suits, and all the agents come from their rocket ship, and then it's literally like pew
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 pew.
pew 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 pew. Oh God.
Like, because somebody saw, it's not just that they saw Star Wars and said like, oh, put it in space, but like, oh, there's laser gun. We need to have ray guns, because there's not a lot of space battles. It's just ray guns and pew pew pew. And then when we have to blow up the satellites, let's take the one ship that's got a ray gun on the front of it, so we can have some space pew 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 pew.
And the sound effect is so stupid. It just sounds so awful.
Like, of all the things, like, Ben Burt went out and took a monkey wrench to a cable and found good sound effects, and we have the Spaceballs pew pew effect, and it's okay in Spaceballs because it's a comedy.
Yeah, intentionally a comedy. This is kind of just a tragic, not intentional. It's not supposed to be funny.
But in that way that Bond franchise, but from time to time the pendulum will swing and then react the other way. And we went from fucking this to like, well, let's go and try something different. Let's do For Your Eyes Only.
One of the greatest Bond songs.
Great
one
song.
Of the best. Great. And I'm a Prince fan, so clearly I love Sheena Easton. And then also to have her, the intro is not just naked ladies dancing in front of like oil slick. This one, it's the music video. It's the music video For Your Eyes Only which is what they should always do, in my opinion. If you watch the music videos for like GoldenEye and stuff, they could have just put credits on top of that, and that's the intro sequence, because it works so well in For Your Eyes Only. For Your Eyes Only, once again, I have to apologize to you for, because For Your Eyes Only is a good movie.
It's
not a great movie, but it's a good movie. Of any of the Moore movies, the one I would say is watchable is For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, just the tone alone. Well, actually, I have my problems with it. In fact, you apologize to me and say it's good. Let me counter that by the one thing that I don't like about it, and it starts
the opening sequence. The opening sequence is terrible.
First of all,
it totally disrespects On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
It starts out super cool though, because it starts out with him visiting Tracy's grave, and it's well played. He shows up, he brings her flowers, we see it, and it says Tracy Bond, and it fucking says, "We have all the time in the world."
That is awesome. And then out of nowhere, a priest shows up and says, "Hey, there's a bad guy that wants to kill you." Like, it's so stupid.
And they're sending a copter, yeah. And then it turns out, here's where it gets stupid, is that, because we haven't had Blofeld since then.
Since Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Forever was the last time.
And I feel like part of it was, well, let's try to appease some fans with some fan continuity. And remember when he killed his wife? Well, now we're going to do the vengeance scene. But the problem with this is, I don't want Blofeld to die and pay for those crimes in a throwaway opening 10-minute sequence. That's
not only that, but also the whole like covering up his face and stuff.
Well, that's the other thing is like, I don't know. It's been so long since I watched the making of this, because I did watch the bonus features. But like, I know that Eon Productions and all them lost the rights to Spectre, which is why Spectre's never around again for a long time.
Because of Thunderball, right? And
I think
what became Never Say Never Again. Yeah.
And then it was a big deal when they got the rights back to Spectre a few years ago. Like, well, the first thing we're doing is we're making that the name of our next Bond movie.
And that's why Blofeld shows back up as well.
Right. Something about this, I think, like, they couldn't depict Blofeld in a certain way, so like we can't see his face and all of his lines have to be looped. It was like the loophole.
Yeah. It's a clearance. It's a rights and clearance situation.
Yeah. Technically, I like that he's in a wheelchair, like he's injured from the events of, because I mean, he gets dropped into like an exploding like oil rig or some sort of oceanic thing, and
in Diamonds, yeah.
Yeah. So I get that he would be messed up. But to have this two-dimensional, over-the-shoulder, never see his face, clearly looped, bald thing in a wheelchair does not honor the character.
But why would he be on top of a rooftop with his cat by himself, radio controlling a helicopter? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all, where he's physically at in relation to what's going on. I think they thought they were doing us a solid by picking up a little thread, but instead it's just silly, and then it becomes dumb, where he hooks.
Yeah, when the helicopter, oh, so stupid.
and then he drops him down, and I forget what he says, but it's like James, no, but it's something. What
Oh
I
yeah.
don't,
Well, also
my
Blofeld
payoff
is like
is
going, "Don't do it! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!" And I'm like, "This doesn't sound like Blofeld at all." Like Telly Savalas would never. Telly Savalas would have broken the window and told him to go f himself.
yeah,
Kill me! I'd rather
Charles
die.
Gray wouldn't have done that either. I think it was Charles Gray wouldn't have said that either. Um, yeah. So, but here's the thing: is even though it starts off terribly, holy crap, does the rest of this movie? I think I'm gonna say delivers.
I wish they had seriously shown him at the gravesite and had because it was stupid enough with the priest coming out, but I'll handle that. The priest comes out and says, "They need you. They're sending a helicopter for you." He walks away, have him get on the helicopter and cut to bong, ba-na-na-na-na. I mean, that would have been better. I would have preferred that.
Yeah. One of the things, some of the jokes in this are a little silly. I'm not a fan of like the hockey fight where the goons show up in hockey uniforms and
I'm not a fan of the ice skater who can't act her way out of a paper bag.
pretty much
But
anything related to ice skating in this is not good.
well, when she's also one of those ones that's like, I have a boyfriend, but James, I'm like, he's old enough to be your grandfather, and then she kisses him, and I was like,
I don't know what they were
gross.
thinking with that. I don't even know where to begin because she's depicted as being young,
Mm-hmm.
but you can
Yeah.
tell she's being played by an old enough actress that I don't feel gross watching it because she's playing younger. But
Yes.
everything about her energy and everything is so stupid. And then, like I forget his name, but he ends up being from Last Crusade. He's the one who like hires Indy to go find the Grail. Donovan.
That's funny because he plays the same character. He's the same guy
Yeah.
from Indiana Jones.
And what a twist! I'm the bad guy. But
that's exactly that's it. Yeah.
But Donovan mentions that like she's so consumed with skating that she doesn't know of much of the outside world. And then later she's like, he thinks I'm still a virgin or some bullshit. Like, I don't get the choice. Like, whose fantasy is that for like a young girl to be like so giggly and ditzy and like youthfully? Like, it's not sexy. It's not like she's some like 20-year-old niece in a bikini who's just kind of a bimbo. She's like a child.
Yeah, she plays it like a generic kid.
The good sense to write Bond to be like, no, like, don't stand so close to me. Like,
yeah,
like,
that could have been the theme song. Yeah, no, I agree because and neither, but she's not in enough of the movie, and her character doesn't really make much of a difference to the movie. So I'm not sure why that has to be in the movie.
Yeah,
like that seems like a plot thread that's very. Why is this in here?
Maybe I remember when I mentioned that I like on The Man with the Golden Gun. A friend of mine just went, "Worst Bond girl ever." It was the first thing out of his mouth, and I'm like, "No, this girl's the worst Bond girl ever."
Yeah.
That scene where she shows up, where she's like in his room, or was he picking her up? But in her room, but like she comes out of the shower, she gets in bed, she throws the towel, and it's just like, I'm like, nope. This is just weird.
It's so bad. When he shows up at the ice skating rink wearing that jacket, he's dressed like an old man, like a grandpa.
Far
and
too
then
old for her.
Yeah, and they youthed her up so much. It's very pedo like gross.
They should have let her play her age and rewritten it.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. I also think that he should, at that point, he should have been, and I think it would have been more interesting and better for the character if he had been kind of like, I'm not into that. I'm not into little girls, bro. I like women, sophisticated, strong women. But I mean, when Timothy Dalton shows up, we'll get there.
What? So yeah, I don't like the hockey bit where every time he knocks one out into the goal and the thing goes off. Not all the humor lands for me in this, but not enough to derail the movie. In fact, one of the things.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Because the strengths of this are awesome. Like, I forget the character's name, but Topol from fucking Fiddler on the Roof.
He's outstanding. He is the best part of the movie.
Awesome.
He's the best part of the movie.
First of all, you think he's a bad guy. That whole scene where he lays out the truth and why I'm still a smuggler, but not drugs. Like, I'm an all right dude, and I'm going to help you out. And like, he's one of my favorite like friends to Bond. in any of
Yeah.
like he's great and he's charming.
You know who he reminds me
funny,
of? He reminds me of
charismatic, and he's helpful.
he reminds me of Tracy's dad from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, kind of like that same
Yeah,
type of person.
yeah,
Like I'm
totally,
dirty, but I'm not.
totally.
It's like Rocketeer. I'm a gangster, but I'm not a Nazi.
Yeah,
You know, I like that. Yeah,
yeah, very Paul Sorvino.
that's right. That's right.
Also, the ski chase in this, when it starts, I'm like, oh man, you've got big shoes to fill with On Her Majesty's, because that ski chase is so well staged. And at first, I'm like, I don't know, and then like halfway into it, I'm like, okay, but again, if you're gonna like steal from the best. Like I like that if we're gonna reference something, they're like, we're gonna like this is the more serious Bond movie of this franchise, right? So let's pull. Here's a reference to one of the more serious ones from the.
Well, they're gonna screw that up in View to a Kill. We haven't gotten there yet. But
Sure,
yeah, they'll screw that up there.
We talked about how influential On Her Majesty's Secret Service is on later Bond movies, and to me, that's terribly evident in this one.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
I don't like when he randomly gets to go up to the ski jump, and there's supposed to be some tension in the elevator. Because all I know is someone said, as a producer, like, "Oh, we want to see Bond do a ski jump." Okay, so we're gonna stop and have him do a ski jump. But everything after that is so like it's really well edited. The ski chase is well shot. Like it's
really well shot. It's really well shot.
Cool.
Some of them you see Roger Moore's face and it's not back projection. It's pretty interesting.
It's legitimately cool.
Yeah,
and I don't say that about many Roger Moore things, but it's legitimately cool. I like our female lead a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is that when at the end, well, the third act, when they're climbing up the mountain, which was a great sequence, and I'm surprised they even got more to do this. When Roger Moore is doing the climbing of the rock, the rock wall, and there's some issues with how it's shot and stuff because obviously they couldn't have him do all this stuff. But when he's hanging there and they're like watching, and they're watching, his ass is gonna die. And then when they take the little elevator thing up to the little building that he gets into at the top of the cliff, all that stuff is dynamite, and she's great in all that. The two, her and the gangster guy, the smuggler guy, they're great. It's just it all works really well.
And I appreciate when certain action set pieces take their time. Another On Her Majesty's Secret Service reference is that whole thing where he's captured and trying to get out, and when the ski lift is going up and him climbing the rope. It goes on for a while.
It's very similar. Yeah, very similar.
And then this with, we all can't get up there, but there's a you can make the basket come down, but you have to climb the mountain. And we're really going to take some time with him being stuck up there and the goon above him and him falling. Yeah.
That's probably the most intense Roger Moore sequence from a perspective of, suspense. Because when that guy starts popping the rivets out of the top of the cliff and you see the rope sliding, you're like, oh, he could die. Like this is the first Roger Moore movie where you actually feel Roger Moore is in trouble. There's a sense of danger and he could die. I mean, there's even parts in the fight sequences where you're like, oh, he's going to get his ass kicked. And he's genuinely in the fight. It's interesting.
And also, it has one of my favorite, actually, hands down, it has my number one favorite Roger Moore moment when he already bangs some girl and then she gets killed on the beach by those goons.
That is so On Her Majesty's Secret Service. When I saw that, I was like, this is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, just reshot.
Right. But that's not my favorite part. My favorite part is later when that guy's in the car and he's hanging off the edge of the thing, and you totally recognize that he's the guy from the beach. And fucking Roger Moore just goes up and puts his fucking foot on the car and kicks it off the cliff. And I'm like,
what's funny about that?
That's one of the few times I'm like, that's James Bond.
Absolutely.
I don't say Roger Moore, but that is James Bond.
Absolutely. That's one of those without prejudice kills that I was talking about that show up.
Connery would have done that. Lazenby would have done that. Daniel Craig would have done that. There's even a version of Dalton, and I mean, not Timothy Dalton definitely would have done that. There's even certain versions of Brosnan where he would have done that. This was
absolutely. World's Not Enough Brosnan and GoldenEye Brosnan would have definitely done that. But it's what apparently Roger Moore also had a big problem with using the Walter PPK so much. He didn't like using guns. He didn't like killing people in the movies, which explains the other movies. But I believe the For Your Eyes Only was the first one. Let me see. I have to look it up, but is directed by the guy who later did the Timothy Dalton movies.
Oh.
The director. And I believe that For Your Eyes Only was his first movie also. Was the first movie, I guess the second movie talked to about, but the first movie offered to Timothy Dalton before
Interesting.
they decided Roger Moore to come back. So, because on Her Majesty's Secret Service, apparently they did meet with Dalton, and Dalton was like 20, and he's like, I'm not into it, too young.
Yeah, because
And then they
this
offered,
was 79.
yeah, so they offered him. Apparently, they had a serious discussion about doing For Your Eyes Only and having him be the, the to follow the George Lazenby style, because I think even because Michael G. Wilson, this is when he started getting involved, and I know that he loved On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I think that this is when they were trying to, Barbara Broccoli and Wilson were trying to pull Cubby towards the let's do it like the books. And I think For Your Eyes Only did the best, trying to make the Roger Moore movies follow the bond of the books.
I would love to have seen this movie starring Timothy Dalton and watched Dalton like kick the car off the side of the cliff. That would have been rad.
My response to that would be fuck yeah, because I Timothy Dalton. Every time I watch anything in the For Your Eyes Only, like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I would have loved to have seen Lazenby continue the series, because I think they would have kept it in line with that movie. But the Roger Moore movies, so silly, and I would love to see Timothy Dalton in any of those, because I feel like he brought the serious tone as well. Because Daniel Craig, Dalton are not going to do silly movies. They're just not going to do them. And I think that if you had Dalton at that point, also him climbing the rocks, we do get that in his movie, his first one. But I think that definitely is much more in line with his version of the character. And Lazenby. I think Lazenby would have been great in this movie. I think this would have been killer if it had been Lazenby.
I completely agree with that. And I would rather, and honestly, I'd like to see in Lazenby with this Bond girl who, God, I can't remember her name, but I like that even when we are introduced to her, we actually get a sense of a character. Like she's
great, man.
Her family. She's like, she actually gives a shit about like her dad and his interests. She's capable as far as like what his job is, and the fact that she's also handy with a crossbow. Like she feels like she's her own capable person.
Yeah, she's a precursor to the Huntress, man. Like she's the Huntress, and the thing is that you believe it. She's a badass. She's definitely in the vein of Spy Who Loved Me, badass. But she's a badass, and I love that she's vengeful and she's out to kill those guys. And then the murder of her parents is really, that sequence is very dark.
And
she like the Punisher.
And she plays her drive and her intention really, really well.
Absolutely. It makes sense.
The only reason I want to see someone like Lazenby with her is because again, I don't buy any chemistry or I don't recall there even being any flirting between the two of them.
And he tries. I mean, it's Roger Moore, so he says nasty things to her and double entendres and all that stuff.
But there's no like chemistry the way Connery would sort of have some.
Absolutely.
I just remember watching this whole movie and going, cool, like they're buds on this adventure. Got it. And then at the end out of nowhere, I'm like, oh, and then they're okay, I guess. And he's gonna bang her. Got it. I should have seen this coming.
Yeah. No.
Because I know it's possible. And I thought maybe since this was one of the better ones, it was gonna. But also, the Moonraker started something that's not in every movie, but is in a lot of them, which is we wrap up the story, and then we cut back to Q and some other or M and some other people going, oh, well, where's James? I'll find James. Beep up, boop, 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 and then they start off with one of the worst ones, which is in Moonraker when Q goes, oh, I think he's about to do re-entry or something.
No, I think he's attempting re-entry. That's the only part of that movie that I remembered, other than the space fight. And I remember going, he's attempting re-entry. It's delivered well. It's the only pun in that movie that lands with me, is the Q one at the end.
And it's the broadest pun is all I'm getting at. This one, it's not, because then several more times it'll be, where's Bond? And they always try to reach him while he's fucking or about to fuck someone. This one though is more just like the bird gag, where like the bird can talk, and patch him through to the queen, I really like the movie, but again, the humor isn't awesome in this one. And
Yeah, the weird parrot talking to
it wasn't the
the
queen, it was the
prime
prime
minister.
minister. Yeah,
It's the prime minister, yeah,
and
and
they even
she's
show like the door and
yeah, it's that doesn't land. At least it's not as obnoxious as some of the other stuff. I think that this movie would I think they were trying to really appease people by doing an in between of we want to do a serious Bond film, but at the same time we know these certain beats have to happen, or people that like those silly movies will hate it. So we have to do it. They didn't want a Timothy Dalton to Pierce Brosnan separation because
yeah.
you know that repellent to the serious Bond that was felt in the late 80s, or late 80s, 87, 89, to even to this day where people tell you Dalton sucked, and then they'll say the Dalton movies suck, but I love Daniel Craig. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Totally the same stuff. But I think that they were trying to have an in between of Lazenby type movie, early Connery type movie, and
Yep.
the silly ass Roger Moore movie.
Yep. And for the most part, it mostly works.
It mostly works, yeah. For the most part, it does, yeah.
The next one was Octopussy, and
Oh
one of the
God,
things that
can we just skip this one?
okay, so you're really not going to agree with what I'm about to say, which is Octopussy and View to a Kill are both not as bad as I remember them. And I remember having like just spewing vitriol of just how much these suck. And I'm watching Octopussy, and it's funny because there are a bunch of isolated things in Octopussy that are all really bad, but like on the whole, I'm like, why do I hate this? This isn't that bad. If anything,
Right.
it's this and View to a Kill are both. I think their biggest crimes are how dull they can be. But
Octopussy is incredibly slow.
they
Incredibly
aren't as
slow.
absurd or offensive to me in their badness. I'm not gonna say Octopussy is good, but like, it wasn't that bad. At least to that degree that like I held it in my head where I had like Octopussy and View to a Kill very, very low on my list.
Octopussy has two things about it that I like. What was the theme song to Octopussy? Which one's that?
I forget the phrasing of it, but it's it's one of the few Bond songs that isn't Octopussy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so there's two things that I like about Octopussy. I'm going to give you my two positives before I completely shit on this movie. One, the plane stunt is really cool looking when he goes through the warehouse and the plane turns
Totally.
sideways. It's badass. They faked it very well. They cover the contraption that's holding the plane up with the wings. They do a great job of making it look like it flies through that thing. That's cool. Second part is the poster. The rest of it's trash. I'm sorry. The poster is rad. Everything else is trash.
All-time high.
Oh God, what a terrible! Oh God, I remember when I watched the
Not
credits.
a
I was
great
like,
song.
oh God, I forgot this song sucks.
Is
And the
Octopussy?
ending, boo doo doo doo. It starts like that, right? It has that, and then the end is him in the plane, and he goes, and there's I can't. It's so bad.
Is Octopussy the one where the car transforms into like a little plane?
Yeah, and at the end he's in the gas station. He goes, fill her up, and he goes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
zooms in his face, and it goes,
Yeah.
boo doo doo.
Yeah, that's a rough opening. That it ends on like the opening ends on a joke, like a silly beat, and then and then to a song that doesn't fit. Yeah, we can make this quick because it's really not good. It's shocking how broad of swings some of these jokes are and how they just don't land. First of all, there's that rickshaw chase, and the guy starts like attacking people with his tennis racket, and then we
Right.
cut to
Yep.
people going like,
Oh,
it's such a dumb joke.
oh my God.
And then I didn't realize
Oh.
until way later that that guy is at the time a very famous tennis player.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe that joke
And-
landed at the time, but in
Yeah,
2020,
yeah.
I'm like, this is stupid.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the ice skater in Figueroa's Only. She was a famous ice skater, apparently.
Oh, really? I'm even
Yeah,
more embarrassed for her then.
Yeah, she was a famous ice skater who was trying to get into acting, and they saw it as a cool. Oh, we'll have a Bond girl be an Olympian or whatever, and yeah, that's what that was.
No. I there's so much that I forgot about this movie, so it all hit me like a ton of bricks for the first time, being not my first time. But I'm watching like Octopussy or whatever. Yeah, she goes by Octopussy. Yeah. And I see this crocodile in frame, and I'm like, that is the fakest looking fucking croc. Oh, it's supposed to be fake. Wait, James Bond is getting around in a fake crocodile? Fuck this. Like,
Well,
it's.
bro, I mean,
I mean, this is.
there's nowhere to go but down after that. I mean,
I know
you're talking
that.
about, oh,
You know, that's Get Smart shit, and Get Smart gets to be silly. You know,
yeah, Get
Inspector.
Smart is supposed to be
Yeah.
silly Mission Impossible. It's not supposed to. Yeah, this is. Oh God, he
There's
wears
so like,
clown makeup. The circus stuff. Oh God.
there's so much in this that made me cringe. I think famously, everyone. This is when fucking there's a Tarzan yell in this.
There is.
There's a Tarzan yell in this. It's the worst. And I mean, the Tarzan, like, I already don't totally like the Tarzan yell in fucking Return of the Jedi, but like, I have a real problem with it in James Bond. Because it's identical in this. It is an audio sample of the classic Tarzan yell.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny to think back into the early mid '80s that Tarzan was still such a reference that needed to be in Return of the Jedi and a James Bond movie.
Also, I had to rewind it and watch it when there's like a fight and he takes this tiger rug and like throws it over the edge of the railing, and you hear a roar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, let me rewind that. They didn't insert a roar sound effect into it. And I'm like, nope, there's a tiger roar. I don't know who this movie's for. It's so silly. If it's supposed to be like an adult escape fantasy, because it's like, look at this thing, and she's training like a harem of women, but also like juvenile tiger roars and Tarzan sound effects. I don't get it.
Well, even the stupid joke of him being dressed as a clown, which he puts clown makeup on and his outfit in about 35 seconds, goes straight to the military or the police or whatever. He goes, I'm a British secret agent. And he's doing that. All I said was like in my head, I thought, because I'd forgotten the clown crap. When I saw that, I go, this right here describes Roger Moore's time as Bond. He's a fucking clown trying to convince us he's a secret agent, and it doesn't work.
You may not agree with me on this. I'm not as bothered by the clown stuff as you are, only because I didn't think it was ever supposed to be a scenario that was supposed to be that funny or that cool or that anything. I just thought like he does need to infiltrate this scene. This is how he's going to do it. And I get it. And it doesn't really bother me that much.
Oh, it bothers the living shit out of me. That train fight is atrocious too. You can tell it's not his geriatric ass.
You know what I'm more bothered by is when he, I think he's hiding in that gorilla suit.
Oh my God! But this movie is so bad.
He like shifts his foot. He moves before they've left the room, and I'm like, Bond would stay still until they've left the room. This is just creating conflict for conflict's sake. Yeah, I'm also more disturbed by the fact that he goes in there. I mean, do you know how long it takes to like sit down and like?
Yeah, he walks into it. He walks, and speaking of someone who has worn clown makeup in his time,
it looks professionally. It looks done like the way a real clown would. And I mean, am I nitpicking? Sure, but like also, you don't go in and out of a trailer that fast and come out looking like a perfect clown.
He also found the costume that fit his body perfectly.
Yeah. Also, I went this whole movie not knowing that Octopussy is the same girl from Man with the Golden Gun.
Is she really?
It's the same actress. Not Britt Eklund, but the one who Scaramanga just keeps around for sex, who sends the bullet to Bond.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Same actress.
So no wonder I think the movies, all the Roger Moore movies just cross-pollinate because they just keep reusing actresses, the same actors, the same plot points, the same action sequences. They're all one movie.
I don't like I didn't like it when Charles Gray was in, I think, Thunderball, and then was in.
Yeah.
And I don't like that she's playing two different characters. And also,
yeah, he was in Diamonds Are Forever after that Blofeld.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize her. It's not even been that much time, but I had no clue until literally the movie was over, and I'm like, who played Octopussy? Oh my God. Um,
That's just dreadful. That's just dreadful.
I also am not a fan of like, you don't like James Bond being dressed as a clown a lot. What I don't like is the attack on the compound at the end and
Oh my
her,
God, where they're
her
coming in.
using her
Yeah.
circus people. And it's literally like a gang of circus girls all doing like that to me is goofy stuff that I didn't sign up for. I think
Yeah,
that
no, I agree. I agree. All of that. I think the clown is just so on the nose for me. Like, because
yeah,
I watch these Roger Moore movies and I go, he's a clown. The whole thing's a clown.
yeah.
It's stupid. And then this one, they're like, no, he's going to be a clown in this one. There's going to be circus aerialists on balls and doing tricks and standing each other's heads while fighting people. And it's just so stupid.
Yeah, having circus gymnasts jump in and like save the day. I don't ever think any agency in the U.S. or Russia or England or anyone would like take a cadre of civilians who know gymnastics and put them in harm's way. But whatever. Um, Even though I think it was her idea. Also, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this also the one where during that fight, James comes in on a hot air balloon with Q?
I think there's a hot, yeah. The hot
There's
air balloon,
got to
yep.
be faster, more efficient ways to arrive at the climax. It just felt like producers wanted a hot air balloon, but it comes in so slowly. And I'm like, this is painful. This doesn't feel organic. Why is this happening?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've said this before, and I think the last time, well, I think I've said this on almost all of them. Definitely with Live and Let Die, because I remember saying this, an hour and a half ago. This is a bad movie. It's just a bad movie. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
The fight sequence on the train really bothers me as well, because watching his stunt double fight for him and then the close-ups of him, and then it's a
The
stunt
circus
double. Like
train.
this is the early mid '80s. By this point, they can shoot movies well.
Yeah.
And also, this also reminds me, and For Your Eyes Only is one of the few in this, but everything looks like it's shot for television. Man with the Golden Gun has some good moments that don't look TV-ish, but all of these, for the most part, are lit, especially Live and Let Die, but are lit and cut and shot in a way that makes it look like it's for TV.
Yeah. God, what else? I don't think I have. First of all, of all the Bond movies, this is one of the more egregious ones. This happens a lot. This happens a lot where the bad guy captures him and then keeps him around. And I don't mean like leaves him to die and walks away, but just like, well, I'm just going to put you in a room and you're going to stay and you're going to have dinner. Like, this is one of the more egregious where I'm like, why is he staying for dinner with this guy? I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this was the first one where I can recall where it ends with "we're gonna fuck," and then there's an outside shot, and you hear James, and I'm like, "Oh, there it is."
Oh, James.
Because then A View to a Kill ends with "Oh, James," and yeah, but this is another one that ends with like, "Oh, where's Bond? Oh, he's over here, and he's fucking."
It's so bad. It's so bad, and
yet I've experienced worse. Like the main story is okay. It really kind of blows it towards the end. Although I do like the time they take to show the train, the bomb, the switch out of the jewels and I'm like, okay, they have some patience. But this leads us into A View to a Kill.
Oh man.
First of all, let's say the nicest thing I could say about it: the fucking song.
Man, Duran is king, bro. Duran is king.
First of all, I think at the end of Octopussy, it's referred to as "From a View to a Kill."
Yes.
And then the song lyrics mention "From a View to a Kill." But but in the actual movie itself, it's "What a view to a kill."
View to a kill.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fun. It's a view. It's a view to a kill.
View to a kill.
You thought of what us watch. Yeah. This movie. The nicest thing I can say.
I expect you to die.
Yeah. Great poster. Great poster. I remember it being a kid in cinemas going, I want to see that.
Right.
Great theme song. Duran Duran is flawless. Song is incredible. And what's cool about this is the popularity of this one led to Aha doing Living Daylights, which is also an outstanding song, very similar.
Another one of my favorites.
Yeah, outstanding.
Back to back.
Everything, and I love Christopher Walken. Even in bad movies that I don't like Batman Returns, Christopher Walken makes me go, I'm enjoying this. I can't say I enjoy this movie. I hate this movie. I hate the fact that they play the Beach Boys when he goes skiing. I hate the iceberg. I hate the terrible, terrible, terrible robotics they have in the office of of the bad guy. I hate Grace Jones in this. The jump off the Eiffel Tower is cool. Everything else is trash, 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 trash. It's top to bottom trash movie.
If I remember correctly, the the California Girls that's used in the movie is a cover, right? It's not even the Beach Boys.
They use the chorus, and I can't off the top of my head. I don't even know why they use that song, but
Yeah,
they were
it's
like,
a, oh, I just looked it up because I was curious. It's Gidea Park. It's a tribute band. Um,
is that German for trash? Because when I
yeah,
saw the movie, I'm like, this is trash.
I have not seen even when I'll admit something to you. I saw parts of View to a Kill when I was a kid, and I didn't like it. When I got the box set in my 20s, I didn't watch it. So this is my first beginning to end viewing. I've seen parts of it throughout my 20s, um, and it's not good. But the plot itself and most of the mechanics of it are all right. It's just certain elements that don't work. But again, I watch this going, this isn't as bad as I was like. Moonraker is far worse than this.
See, I think
But
to me, it's on par. It's on par for the course. It's just
so
stupid.
much of it's dull. It's kind of a chore and a slog to get through, which to me is far more offensive than other things. But like, first of all, right off the bat, yeah, I don't get. So he takes a piece of the ski vehicle and he like snowboards with it, and it instantly goes into in an Arctic area. It goes into California Girls, which
So bad.
isn't
It's so
funny. It's
bad.
not cool. It isn't wink wink. But also the second it started, I'm like, when someone is standing on a singular thing and doing this, why isn't it Surfing USA?
Yeah, that's an
What?
interesting part. Like, why
There's
would
no
they?
girls in this scene. Why is it
Yeah,
California Girls? I don't get it.
yeah.
It's
You know
like
what? This is A View to a Kill. And actually, let me see. We're just gonna list A View to a Kill, Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun, Octopussy, and Moonraker. All did something very special for me, and this is it. Really unlocked something within myself. Pierce Brosnan wasn't as bad as I remember because of these pieces of crap. Like Pierce Brosnan, I've talked lots of shit because I enjoyed those movies, some of them, and then I would point out, like Die Another Days is trash. We'll
garbage.
get there,
Garbage.
but these movies overall, we were talking about this kind of offline as well. These movies have established for me that I'm not as big of a James Bond fan as I thought. I'm a fan of the books. I'm a fan of the books. I'm a fan of a lot of the movies, but A View to a Kill puts the cap for me on like this is what they ended on. This is more like we're going to do a really good strong one for Roger to go out on. I'm like, this is what you did, and to me, it's kind of like with Pierce Brosnan when you watch Die Another Day. It's it's so bad and intentionally bad, as in like they were like, this is a good idea. This is gonna be bigger and badder than anyone we've ever done before. He's gonna be San Francisco and he's gonna be on the Golden Gate Bridge and the hottest chick we can find is gonna be in it. And it's this old geriatric man pretending like he's running up the Eiffel Tower and Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken with a weird hair dye. It's
And
just
he
so bad.
defeats Christopher Walken, and now he has to fight off against like an 80, 90-year-old German guy trying to, like, that's your climax? Is like this old man who can barely hold a gun?
Well, and that, but also Grace Jones would have killed this fool in the first 10 seconds. Grace Jones doesn't play. And I see the attraction of being a producer in 1985 and going, you know what? Grace Jones is dope. She'd be a dope assassin. You
Grace
know,
Jones, so hot right now. Grace Jones.
Grace Jones,
She was in this.
Hansel,
Yeah.
Hansel. Yeah, Grace Jones, I get it. And then the rest of the movie, I go, I don't get it. Because you could tell they had like a wall of ideas and they would just throw, you know,
Well,
and just kind of decide, well, it'll be James Bond and this famous actress, this element, this because none of these are based on the movie, on the books. The further we get, the
yeah.
less like the books they are.
It's just the title
And
at this point.
yeah, and it's just so awful.
The
Oh,
Grace
so
Jones
bad.
things I don't get is also for the long. I mean, I don't know about you. Even before the internet, I used to go poster shopping. You go to like antique stores or movie memorabilia stores, and I remember even as a kid, like I knew that poster. of
Yeah, it's a
Bond.
great poster.
And
It's a
no,
great
but
poster.
not the San Francisco Bridge one.
Hmm.
But do you know the other one where it's Bond and Grace Jones has her back to him and it says, "Has Bond finally met his match?"
Oh
And
yeah, I
we're
want to
thinking,
see that
ooh,
movie. When
right,
that movie
because
is
that sounds
made, I want to
cool.
see it.
Because
Yeah, that sounds great.
in this movie, there's no match. She's in it. She has a
She
bunch of
she
scenes where she follows Christopher Walken around.
Yeah, she jumps off the Eiffel Tower, and that's a great sequence. But
Yeah.
if they had done a man with the golden, here you go. If they had done a man with the golden gun, similar idea, and it's Grace Jones versus James Bond, and they're
Yeah.
in San Francisco, and all the other crap is happening, but she's the main baddie because
Mhm.
she's the assassin who wants to kill Bond. I'll see that movie. I wouldn't believe it because Grace Jones would kick the shit out of
Shit
Roger
out of
Moore.
Roger Moore, yeah.
But it sounds interesting. Grace Jones is a great addition to the movie. Christopher Walken is great casting. Everything
He
else about the
is.
movie is trash.
Actually,
Trash.
I really, really liked him in this movie. One, he's got charisma, and after so many Bond villains that take themselves really seriously, I mean, so many of these Roger Moore ones, they have no presence, and they all seem to wear like very tan, Blofeld type outfits. It's not very
Yeah,
original.
they're all Blofeld
Here's a
ripoffs. Yeah,
guy
absolutely.
who's enjoying what he's doing. I like the fact that they wrote him as a psychopath because it really plays that this guy is a psychopath. And his
Absolutely.
energy for it, it's great. He's incredibly watchable. I do roll my eyes when they're reading off like facts about him, and they're like, "Oh, Zoran, he was born here and raised in like born in Russia and raised in Germany, and then went to here, so no accent." Also, they can have like a foreign character but still have an American actor play him. But I'm like, well, guess what? Having an American accent doesn't mean no accent. It means he has an American accent. That's a very American way of thinking. Uh,
Right, right,
it's a
absolutely. Yeah,
weird
yeah.
thing to describe. Oh, but he was raised in Germany and went to England and went to Russia, but has no accent.
Well, what's funny about that as
Just
well is
fucking don't mention it.
I would never consider what Christopher Walken has speech pattern not an accent because it's an
Right.
accent. I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
it is,
I don't know what it
but it's an
is. Yeah.
accent.
Um, Yeah, what do I loathe? I hated the opening where he gets into the submarine that looks like a fucking iceberg with a
Hate all
fuck
of
bed,
that. I
with a fuck
hate
bed
all
that
of it.
comes up, and it's an
Hate.
agent, and we're gonna fuck for 5 days. Um, I really had a there's a lot of things that just make me go, huh, in this movie. He's meeting with that guy in the restaurant, and then Grace Jones shows up.
The whole
She's got
restaurant sequence makes me want to die, just because I hate it so
well,
much.
you get
I
to
hate
relive
it, and
it.
the little thing and everything. Oh, I
Even
hate it.
before the gag is there's a performer, and while the performer is singing, I think we're gonna have little butterflies on sticks, as if anyone in that restaurant would be impressed by the theatrics of someone on the side of the stage holding a butterfly on a stick. If the scene had taken place at an elementary school and we were going to visit a character whose kids were performing on a stage, I would understand why
You
there
know
are
what?
butterflies on
You know
sticks.
what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that scene in which Muppet movie? No, the Muppet 3D attraction at California Adventure, where the little rabbit has little Miss Piggy singing her song, and he like has a butterfly, and she gets pissed off, and all of a sudden he has a beat. He goes, bzz, 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 bzz. That's what that is. It's that sequence from
Yeah,
the Muppets 3D ride at Disneyland.
sure. It's an odd reference, but I know exactly what you mean. Then Grace Jones moves around on side, and she does this thing, and she casts the butterfly thing, and it hits him in the face and kills him.
It
I know
looks so
somebody.
stupid and bad.
Somebody's like,
It's awful.
why would a fish hook in the? I'm like, well, let's talk spy shit. It's probably got poison on it. Great. It's such a stupid kill, but what gets me is that in the commotion, Bond gets up and makes a joke to somebody. He goes, "Oh, there's a fly in his soup." You make a joke after you kill someone when you see like a cute girl or where something occurred, but this guy just died. And I think he
Yeah.
was like an informant. And I just thought, like, this is the only time where I ever said this. How fucking disrespectful. Like, James Bond just made a joke about a dude who was killed by a henchman. And it just really rubbed me the wrong way. He fucking makes a joke about this guy that just died right when he leaves. That's
You know
not
what? Yeah.
that's not the moment that you write the corny Bond joke.
This movie, especially that sequence, because that sequence is the one that upsets me the most. Like that's the point of the movie where I have to turn it off, and not like the dinner sequence is where I'm like when they're in the restaurant and all that sort of stuff. I mean, because I remember when I saw it and she throws the butter, I was like, I can't sit down and watch this right now. I'm gonna have to watch the rest of it later, and I watched the rest of it later. I could not do the movie in one sit down because I wanted to die. I wanted the butterfly to hit me in the face. So what this sequence really does and underlines for me is, have you seen The Living Daylights? That's all it makes me think of. It makes me think of, have you seen The Living Daylights? Because I am so glad that they made this movie, because I hope it put the nail in the coffin of this stupid ass Bond movies. And that's the thing is that I took Brosnan for granted. I always say, well, Brosnan is the George, not the George, I'm sorry, the Roger Moore to Timothy Dalton's Lazenby. And I really felt that way until having to sit through all these Roger Moore movies again. And I feel like A View to a Kill is just where I'm like, enough is enough. Like Octopussy is bad enough. I cannot sit through A View to a Kill. I think the movie is just tragic. The only part that I like is the freaking credits, because it's such a bad movie. It's so bad.
You mentioned this before, how the Bond movies felt kind of like TV movies. And I couldn't help thinking of that when I was watching this one. After she jumps off the Eiffel Tower and he like takes a guy's car, that car chase along the River Seine should be what a great location. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're gonna do a car chase. And it's just like, you see it go down the steps, you see half a shot of the river, and then you see close-ups of the car, he gets in a little thing, and then he's out. And I'm like, that was it? Like you have, as a production, you have to like shut down and stage out your area, and you blocked off traffic and you blocked off pedestrian traffic to get, this should have been something cool. And it was, I mean,
think about this. If I told you we were going to do a spy movie where one of the main parts of the movie, and on the poster, the spy is going to be saving the girl and having a gunfight on the railing of the Golden Gate Bridge, you would go, this movie is going to be badass. And then it's slow, it's stupid, there's no danger, it looks like it's on a set, it's edited poorly, it's acted poorly, everything about this movie is awful.
Yeah,
it's
they have a chase on horses. I don't know if that sounds as silly to anyone watching as it does to me when you watch it, and the fact that like Christopher Walken's like, push the button and make the thing raise, and it's supposed to be this big suspenseful thing, but it's just a series of galloping and I don't know. This also, a big chunk of this movie takes place in was it Tanya Roberts? She went on to be, yeah, I think Tanya, but she went on to be in that '70s show. But she was, like a hot person in the '80s. But
yeah, at the time she was massive. So to have her on the poster with Bond on the Golden Gate is a big deal.
So much of this movie takes place like in her house, and then like we're gonna go meet, and then we're gonna go over here and investigate, and then we're gonna come back and hang out in your house. And then someone tried to kill me, and they cut my phone line. So he's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna stick around and make sure I protect you, and I'll fix your phone line while I'm at it." And then, oh well, the box is over here, and then we actually like. Wow, what an exciting part of a Bond movie. That part where Bond goes outside and like repairs your fucking phone line. Just whatever. And then
and talk about a porn setup. There you go.
Yeah, I do I do like that that I think this one, I love when the '80s movies do the robot thing where like we have and because he goes
the Rocky IV thing, yeah,
the Rocky IV thing, and this one has like this little spy bot that they mentioned.
So bad. That's what I was referencing earlier. It's just awful.
This is the O. James moment, except it's a little spy bot with a camera while they're in the shower. The fight, and also it's sad this is his last movie because these goons show up in the house and it's his slowest, dullest fight.
Which is saying a lot. It
really is.
Because he's had some slow ass, dull ass, choreographed bad fights.
But yeah, Chris Walken is really charismatic in it.
Theme is great.
And I think one of the theme is awesome. And I laughed at, I can end with this. I laughed so hard when Christopher Walken and the other guy and the old Nazi guy are in the hot air balloon. And they're waiting for the thing to go off. And Grace Jones moved the bomb and it blew up. So Tanya Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
The
Goldfinger moment.
And way up in the sky, not only behind Tanya Roberts, above Tanya Roberts is the hot air, is the blimp. And it cuts to Roger Moore going, hurry up, move. The next shot is the hot air balloon right behind her. Like right behind her. completely silent as they manage to lower it almost to the ground to reach out and grab her. And she's like, oh no. And then takes off. I'm not being a continuity nerd. I just don't believe that the hot air balloon is here and then there. And I don't believe for a second that she wouldn't hear a hot air balloon coming up behind her, and that it would take enough time for him to go, hurry up, move. And she doesn't move. It's like, I feel like that's where the Austin Powers steamroller gag came from.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck. It's not as bad as I thought, but it is not good.
Have you seen The Living Daylights?
Yeah. Want to go see Living Daylights?
I'm down to watch The Living Daylights. I'm down to watch the next 5 Bond movies in a row, then ever watch this again. Like this A View to a Kill, like I said, I think maybe it's not the worst one, but I think it's such a solid cap on, like, I'm a Twin Peaks fan, you know. So when people go like, oh, the end of season 2 was a great ending, and I'm like, no, and they go, season 3 was a great ending, and there's other people that think that Firewalk with Me was a great way to just cap the series because now we know what happened. I look at like Living Daylights and I go, if he's going to go out on one, might as well go out on that one. On George Lazenby, I wish he hadn't left, but at least he gave us a great one. You know, I hate that Sean Connery went on Diamonds Are Forever, even though we talked about Never Say Never Again. Never Say Never Again is so much better than Octopussy, even though it's a remake of Thunderball. I like it better than Octopussy. I
totally like it more than Octopussy.
Yeah, but for Roger Moore to go out and keep in mind, I'm not a fan, and I liked one of his movies. I thought one of his movies wasn't bad. For this to be the one that they're like, this is going to be the ultimate send off. It's awful, and that's when people get all offended that I don't like the Roger Moore movies. I'm like, go back and watch them; they're trash. Like, and View to a Kill, I get so much hate from me because it 100% is the cap. It's the exclamation point on this period sucks. Hopefully, the next one's better. It is. And I think that I truly think that this and another movie are the 2 lowest points in the Bond franchise, this being one of them. And I think that this was where I'm so glad they changed direction.
I'm glad they changed direction too, but I will say I think Moonraker is a far more offensively bad movie. I think just swaths of this are dumb, and there's bad ideas in all of them, but I find this one just duller. But Moonraker makes my brain hurt in a way that I think the restaurant scene makes your brain hurt.
God, the restaurant scene. That is exactly where in the movie I just sitting there going, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I see Jaws smiling at the pig-tailed girl, and I go, what is this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I like how we're arguing which one is the worst. Usually it's like Batman and Robin isn't as bad as you remember, or Batman Returns is really great except for these cuts. But you talk about Roger Moore's Bond movies, and it's all of a sudden like, wow, these are really bad. Which one is the worst?
No, BJ, be nice. You know, movies. Movies are supposed to be fun, and I just, they're not. I grew up with him, and it's okay. They're just fun. I'm okay with. You know what? You know what's fun? Some of the Pierce Brosnan ones. Connery one.
Oh yeah. Even dude, I'll take Tomorrow Never Dies over any of these. Tomorrow Never Dies is a good time. It's fun. It's not great. It's fun.
It's not, but it's fine. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with fun as long as fun is done well.
You know, it's fun and also, it's acceptably bad. Go watch Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not a great movie. I had a good time. My little girl laughed, and we had it's fart jokes. Fine, I will watch that over A View to a Kill or Moonraker. I'm good.
I don't know which one I'd pick between View to a Kill and Sonic, but maybe Sonic. Yeah, I'd probably watch Sonic. You like it more than I do. Although I thought it was all right.
It's a stupid kids movie. I'll watch a stupid kids movie that's like, hey, we're a stupid kids movie that's totally to make little kids buy popcorn and laugh at fart jokes. I'm down to watch Jim Carrey be an idiot. I saw it in theaters. It was not as bad as I was expecting. So there was something nice. There are elements to it that work, whereas there are elements elements to View to a Kill do not fucking work. Right. So that's what I'm saying is like this is how bad, and I'm sure there's Roger Moore fans just so upset with us. This is how bad the Roger Moore movies are, is that we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog in a Roger Moore James Bond discussion. And I think, honestly, there's no other better way to end it other than, have you seen License to Kill?
I will end it by saying this. After watching all these movies, I can confidently say about so many things that he does in these movies, I just go, that's not James Bond.
I agree. I
That's
agree
not James
100%.
Bond. And I know for a certain generation, that's who, but there's too many, first of all, the instant porno expectation of just like women, I'm not here for it. I don't believe he's a brawler. I don't believe that he'd have a license to kill. I don't really believe that he'd be like a good shot with a gun.
I don't believe he'd be a good shot with a woman. I think that he's firing blanks.
um, and then also there is this, it's a demeanor that he just has that I don't care for. A lot of the scenes, a lot of the jokes or just reactions, there is this sort of wrinkling of the brow and raising of the eyebrows that's just sort of arrogant. And I don't,
Yeah.
it's one thing to be a gentleman spy, but just like considering everyone is around you is silly or just being like, but this little thing, it's not fucking
That needs to
Bond
be your
me.
screenshot for the we should be doing. I can't even do it. My eyebrows are so arched, but yeah.
But yeah, there's this just like sort of dry, cocky,
Yeah.
and side eye, and that's not fucking Bond to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, this. I think it also can be summed up in his entire career as James Bond. They would be this worst choice ever. Worst choice ever. And it's funny because I read some of the books. I enjoy them. I like the gross spy that's choking somebody in a staircase and the chicks just find him attractive even though he's a total dick. I like all of that. I like him smoking and drinking. All that stuff's fine. I also like and like for example, there are certain actors cast as Bond that can pull things off. Like there's a great line in Skyfall, which we'll get to, which I'm really excited that I get to rewatch the Daniel Craig ones. I know them pretty well, but I can't wait to rewatch them. One thing that Bond admits that he's had a gay experience in Skyfall, and you're like, that's cool. There's no moment where you go, this just got creepy and weird. And 90% of the Roger Moore movies are, this is creepy and weird. And it's funny because like, it doesn't matter the audience, doesn't matter the ethnicity, the sexual preference, the sexual identification, the racial background, anything. Everybody likes certain Bonds for reasons. And then you look at the Roger Moore era, he's not popular among any of them. And he's the Bond that actually is the first one that messed with interracial, other than like Asian, but African-American females. He's the first one that, deals with large amounts of African-American characters. He's the first one that deals with so much. And you would think that he would be looked at as a gay icon, a hetero icon, a male icon. Women would fawn over him. Nothing. He's none of the above. He is a complete antithesis. He's the opposite of what all of us want to be, of what all of us are attracted to, of all of us. Like I don't know anybody that goes, yo man, Roger Moore is sexy. I remember my wife looked at the picture and she goes, wow, he's beautiful. And then she watches the movie and she goes, this is awful. He's the worst James Bond of all time. And I'm like, yeah, those blue eyes don't make him sexy. And then you have someone, Daniel Craig, who looks like a pound puppy, and I want to be Daniel Craig. Women love Daniel Craig. Gay people love, lesbians look at Daniel Craig and go, he's a pretty good looking guy. And it's because it's the character. He's sexy and angry and suave, and we want to save him. We want to be like him. We want to be with him. Roger Moore does none of that for anybody. None. Zero. I don't get it. I get nothing from Roger Moore.
I'm with you. That was a good final piece. I'll leave you my final piece, which aren't even my words. But my dad, when I grew up, when we were talking about Bonds, and I go Roger Moore, he goes, oh, I don't like Roger Moore, and I go, oh, and he would always, and we have like the same conversation like over and over throughout your life. He would say this on multiple occasions. He would just say, well, Roger Moore isn't playing James Bond. He's just playing the Saint again.
He's playing the Saint. But what's funny is
my dad would always go,
Kilmer,
he always go, he was good in the Saint, but that doesn't work for Bond. And when I look at this, I just keep going, well, that's not Bond. But I'm not saying he is a bad actor. Like he's not giving bad line readings where I'm like, this guy doesn't, come off believably as a person, where some people like are just bad actors. He's just not right for Bond, and every choice that they're making, I'm like, well, that's not Bond.
I agree with you. And your dad was such a cool guy and such a wise, knowledgeable person.
And he watched
And
The Saint.
yeah, and it's funny because my mom goes, "That's a Saint." And what's funny is I'll take Val Kilmer over Roger Moore any day, because Val Kilmer, I don't know, Roger Moore. I have not seen anything of Roger Moore other than Boat Trip, to be honest, where I went, I like that. I'm enjoying him in this. I don't enjoy him in The Saint. I don't enjoy him in James Bond. Boat Trip is the only time I went, that's awesome. Even Cannonball Run, I'm like, oh, it's James Bond. And now I'm like, oh, it's the guy who played James Bond for a while. In Boat Trip, I'm like, that's awesome. I think that's amazing. Everything else I've seen him in, and maybe I haven't seen enough, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Then I will suggest everyone watching, after all of our shit talking, go out and watch BJ's favorite movie, Boat Trip.
You should all go watch. See, this is how bad the Roger Moore movies are. We're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, Batman and Robin, and Boat Trip. That's how bad these movies are. And if you don't believe us, you need to go back and watch Moonraker and A View to a Kill and Octopussy, and then come back and tell me. And then you need to listen to Paul McCartney and Wings' is that how you say it? Paul McCartney and Wings' song "Live and Let Die." Be hardcore about it. Go listen to the Guns N' Roses one, and then watch "Live and Let Die." And what a live and let down it is.
Yeah.
Live and let down.
The song and the movie don't fit.
The two shall never meet. But hey, good time to ask. Have you seen The Living Daylights?
Living Daylights? I'm gonna go watch it right now, I think.
I probably will, at least in the next. I'll probably watch that or License to Kill. From a guy who everybody thinks is beautiful and is awesome and is a badass. I believe that he has a license to kill, and I wouldn't mess with him. That would be Timothy Dalton. So I can't wait.
T. Dalton. Yeah.
T. Dalt. I cannot wait to discuss Timothy Dalton's story of how he became James Bond, because this, it's a very up and down. A lot of people don't know the proper story. They go, "Oh, he replaced Pierce Brosnan. He's not who they wanted," and that's not the true story. And that's going to be fun to talk about, especially with someone who knows those movies as well as I do.
So that will be next time. I'm gonna go wash the Moore era off me now.
Yeah, I feel like I see the wave. I feel like I have fake tanner on and a lot of hairspray for some reason.
It's an era I don't revisit. I go back and watch Craig and Brosnan and Lazenby, of course, but I don't really go back and it was sort of fun to revisit it from like a making this video sort of standpoint, but like I don't ever, aside from For Your Eyes Only, I'm never gonna be like, you know what? Just throw on Octopussy right now. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it makes me feel like watching Super Bowl 40. And I know you're not a sports guy, but it's just like watching the game and going, this sucks. Everything about this sucks. And I hate that I love the Seahawks so much and have to watch this because it sucks. It sucks. There's nothing good about this. It sucks. That's Roger Moore's Bond movies.
I'm going to go watch Sonic the Hedgehog now.
I'm going to go watch Boat Trip. I'm probably going to Boat Trip tonight.
All right. Until next time. Thanks for joining me, BJ.
Thank you for having me.